freedom,
family,
world unity.
All these things and more will be discussed on this podcast.
Real stories, real people, real debates. On this podcast, we like to express our freedoms and talk about anything and everything goes.
Like freedom, family, and any listening, watching, or coming on the show as a guest star are all considered part of the greatest family to ever bless the solar system, the human race. No matter who you are, where you come from, you will always have a voice here on this podcast.
We like to flex our First Amendment, where all speeches and opinions are accepted for the right of freedom of speech. We have a saying we like to live by. Live life with eyes wide open. Being open-minded leads to true understanding of the world as it really is. Please, come, join us, and enjoy this experience as we embark on this journey of truth as we dismantle the subjective truth. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And you're experiencing high consciousness.
Disclaimer. Any and all information on topics presented are to the best of all who is present in each episode's knowledge. The goal of this podcast is to bring people together and set the example we all wish to see in our everyday lives. Whether it's home life, education, politics, history, business, etc. Any and all subjects can and will be talked and peacefully debated about on this podcast. On debate episodes, there will be a set rules of debate that hosts and guests alike must follow. We ask that you, the audience, like we ask of our guests, in the comments to please try to keep the language as clean as possible. We are a podcast for entertainment as well as educational purposes. Here, we are all equal no matter what race, age, or gender. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
I the shop all the time. I used to work there.
Hi there,
that's right,
and welcome back.
Yeah.
It's been a while, and we are back with a guest, Mr.
Yeah,
Seth
Seth
Bryant.
A local Mebonite.
Don't
Yep.
fucking call me that.
You stayed in Mebon.
It's not so bad.
See, that's where I
Coming
represent.
from New York, this is
I
an
have never been in
upgrade.
Mebonite, so I want to know the reference or the mentality behind the story.
Why not like a Mebon warrior?
Mebon Warrior, I like it. I like the way he thinks.
Or Mebon Eagle.
Or Mebon Eagle, yeah. Why not that?
Eagle?
I mean, whether it's a school or not, East and the world or not, the Eagle still represents freedom. Represent freedom.
That it does.
That's why our founding fathers made it an emblem.
The Mebon Eagle?
There you go.
American Eagle.
Yeah.
That's right.
But anyways, I'm your host, Nick.
I'm your co-host, Victoria, and we all are
High
Consciousness.
So today's episode is going to be a straight, free conversation.
Yep, one of those uncensored and unfiltered.
So we can say that word?
Uncensored, unfiltered, yeah.
Fuck yeah!
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we gotta
What?
give the disclaimer
That's,
out.
that's like 5 words you could have just meant. I'm not sure which one that means.
It could mean either way, because fuck can be said in multiple different multitudes.
There's fuck, like, I just
I know.
screwed up. And then there's fuck, I'm screwed. There's fuck, I'm dead.
I'm a big fan of the fuck yeah.
and,
The
and then
positive.
fuck yeah!
Yeah, that's positive. I think,
Mhm.
yeah.
Like, that's what gets people going.
Me, I don't normally say fuck yeah. It's more like, in the negative way, because that's kind of like how my brain associates it, is like negative.
My go-to negative is just always goddamn it. Like anything something happens, I don't say fuck. I say goddamn. Fuck. It's fucking bullshit.
I always say, God damn it.
I say God bless America. I'm trying to clean up my mouth.
I say shiitake mushrooms.
Well, the funny joke, but the reason why I say goddamn, because we changed because my uncle and my cousin did dog shows. So for a funny little joke, they changed the dog's name to Goddamn It other than God. And God, so when they said on the announcer, "Here comes Goddamn It running around the field."
That's
running around the field. Like fucking mad about it.
Right, exactly. It was. But that's a little story about that one.
So, skateboards, man.
Skateboards?
Did you ever skate when you were younger?
No, a little ripstick. My brother Adam was the big skateboarder in the family.
I was never good with skateboards, but the ripstick, that was my thing. Like,
I
I don't
sucked
know
at the
why something
ripstick.
on two wheels and swiveled back and forth on you was so much better for me than something else, but I don't know.
Does anybody remember the first grind?
I mean,
Tech decks.
like does a slappy count? Like, are we counting slappies?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I remember first grind.
I was more of a bike guy, BMXer.
My first grind was on a metal picnic table in front of my building.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty
I
hard.
was never good enough.
I used to have a lot of leg strength. Now,
Oh.
since I started, medication, I just kind of lost motivation and just gave up on skating.
What type of grind was it?
It was that when you do an ollie and then you rotate the board and then you grind
So flat board, basically?
Yeah.
So were you sliding on the board or on the trucks?
I think he's laying on the board.
it was the board.
So you're like a front board, something.
Yeah, something.
Front side board slide or.
I know I was
backside board
working on it because Tony Hawk back in the day used to do tutorials on YouTube for kids and shit. That's where I learned it.
Did you ever watch Braille?
I actually
Braille
have.
skateboarding.
I actually
Oh.
have.
No, I never
I
saw
don't-
that one. I
I
know what you're
don't-
talking about, but no, I never saw that one.
I don't fuck with Braille, but as a kid, I definitely that was my go-to. Like when I was younger on YouTube, Braille was like one of the first channels.
Oh, Braille. Oh, okay.
to
Yes,
do,
yes.
Skateboarding tutorials.
I started watching that when I moved out here to North
Cause that was
Carolina.
back when Tony Hawk Pro Skater was like jumping, like Underground 2.
Yeah.
I had
Oh,
those
you
video
remember American
games.
Wasteland?
I remember going
American
to La
Wasteland,
Bodega
that
and
was my
playing those
favorite
games.
one. That one was for the GameCube.
I still say Underground was the best one.
Yeah, Underground. They did a bunch of Underground ports for the DS, and just having that around in my pocket just made it even better.
Well, this made Underground so groundbreaking. It was like the very first open world skateboarding game.
You
Well,
get
yeah.
off your board, yeah. You get some spray paint and shit. I
Mhm.
think,
That was
that
so
the one where you
cool.
That's
could
what I
hold on
like
to
most
cars?
about Wasteland.
Yeah. That's the one that was very first introduced holding on to cars and damn,
Yeah, it was
doing
Wasteland,
free.
wasn't it?
No, Underground.
No, it's like
Underground also you just went in during the career you would join skateboard competitions and do runs
Mhm.
and like whoever did the best trick runs like from the longest trick combo highest score gets a pass and you can proceed in the story mode. And our host was left for a quick second.
It was like a 3
I had
page
fun.
run. I think that they call those heats, like each. I'm trying to remember, like stage is called a heat. So it was like heat 1, heat 2, and heat 3, and then I think the finalists are in heat 3. Or I might be getting this backwards. It might be everybody competes in those, and then they move on to like a next.
We also referencing a 20-year-old game too that we probably ain't seen. No.
I mean, like that's how they do an actual skate contest nowadays.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
They do heats. Like that's the expression that they use.
You gotta also realize this is before skateboarding was an Olympic sport.
Yeah, that's true.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Before I missed the
Tokyo
X
was the first games.
Yeah, that's right. It was in Tokyo. I saw it. I was watching it on YouTube. One of the female skaters fell and hit their head on because she didn't have her helmet buckled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh,
You ever watch Street League?
No.
Probably.
Street League is
This is out
that's
of
the
my
one
league.
that's one that Deerdeck owns.
Rob.
Yeah.
I used to watch his Fun Factory
Rob
Rob Deerdeck's
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's
Rob
the
and
best
Big. I used to watch that too.
one. R.I.P. Big.
R.I.P. Big. And there was another one. I watch Ridiculousness nowadays.
Oh, I
Yeah.
watched
Everybody
watched
watches
that
it.
too.
Everybody watches
Love
that.
I love watching that.
Does anybody remember the Christian Hosoi documentary? His life was rough. After
Who?
Christian Hosoi, he was like the
He's like
biggest
old.
top skater in Hawaii.
Old dirt skater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That dude is what is it called? Like the Christ airs. That dude has the craziest Christ air. The air he gets out of the ramp, man, he can fully like kick his legs down, arms all the way out, and then land back on.
Now that's where that move comes from then.
Yeah, Christian Hosoi. That dude is a fucking legend.
Yes.
He just gets like so much air, and his style is super like aggressive. I would say.
I think his son started skating too.
I don't remember his son's name.
I think he changed it, but it was originally called Muse.
Use Hosoi.
Yeah.
Don't
I
worry.
don't remember seeing. I mean, I guess
He was only a
he
baby in the
skates?
doc. Yeah, he skates. He was only a baby in the documentary. And then like his father, then he went to prison, Christian, and just like basically was without his son for most of the kids growing up. That kind of like sucked. I remember watching one of his competitions on the X game. This is back when it was still somewhat public television, and dude gained a lot of weight. He gained a lot of weight.
I mean,
he lost that competition just because he wasn't fit enough, basically.
Well, I'm pretty sure that he wasn't fit. I'm pretty sure the fact that he didn't have the endurance. Because you gotta realize, if you're in prison, you can lift weights and eat all you want and get big. Or, I don't know, but...
You're not gonna have much endurance.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get no... Unless you're just straight up running in place the entire time.
Yeah, cardio is, like, very important in skating. It's like half skating, basically.
Yeah,
if not 75%.
Just the endurance side of it. Like, forget the balance part, forget the knowledge and tricks and all this shit. It's like, no, it's really an endurance thing, because when I first got into skating, I could literally only skate like down the street and back, and then be like, okay, I'm too like overwhelmed.
25 minutes in type deal.
Yeah, it's like my brain was just it was like so overwhelmed. But then as I got better, like your endurance gets up, and it's like, oh, I could skate like across town now.
I used to do that. I used to skate to the food line and back.
Nice.
Until they fucked up the roads. Well, the
I used to just ride my bike everywhere.
My friend Braxton and Julian, you know what they used to do all the damn time? Ride penny boards everywhere. Braxton was crazy enough to legitimately ride from Church Street, Burlington, and come all the way here one night. Like, straight up.
On the penny board.
Yeah.
To Burlington?
Yeah.
From Burlington
riding Church Street the entire time. Like 70. I mean, you can do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if it's mainly like how you start. If you just start and you sprint hard as fuck and throw down and jump on, like, that's only gonna get you maybe like fucking 200, 300 feet or something max. So you have to keep pushing, and the fact that I'm trying to think like that road, because the dimensions are important. Like, if you start up here and it ends down here, you're good. But if it's like this, like that's a constant battle basically. Where anytime there's an uphill part, you got to pray that there's like a downhill part before.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you get towards Graham Hopedale Road, that hilly section off 70.
You know, funny story. One summer I was riding my skateboard, and it was actually by this house we're in right now. I was riding down a hill, and then one of my bearings burst, and I fell off my board and fell in a ditch.
Ouch.
Yeah, and then Adam wakes me up. Funny enough, your brother.
Huh.
Had Adam not been there,
Adam be the one to tell you about some wrecks.
Dude,
on his penny board.
I remember growing up, he always like he broke his arm multiple times.
Oh yeah. When he was cheerleading, that was when he was cheerleading.
Oh, okay.
But I think he was out of high school or still going into high school. Do you ever remember him having a bandage over his hand? And he said, because like not like damn a broken arm or anything, but like actual like a bandage over his hand. Yeah. Because what happened was, he was going down. You know where Jim Minor Road is?
The name's familiar. I don't remember the area.
Okay. I'll give you a better route. You know a better section of it because where it was. You know the road where the Hawfield Church is and that gas station where Trolling was at?
That little general store?
Okay. When you would go past the stoplight and write it down. You know where like Jim Minor Road's right here and it goes around the curve.
Yeah.
Oh, that Adam wrecked over there when they were building that new bridge, because that road blocked off because they're building it, so you can still go around the curve, and they were going around the curve, and Adam didn't see a fucking stick in the way. He was going full speed, and the fucking stick stopped his momentum, like stopped the penny board and everything.
Dead straight.
And he, you know what I'm saying, generally speaking, did this to brace himself, but he wasn't ready to see a fucking razor thin fucking wire that was rusted and fucking snapped his goddamn hand. And during this time, my cousin Frankie was staying in the trailer park, staying in the old trailer right there. So he legitimately took him, Braxton, CB, and Julian all ran back to Frankie's house. My damn Uncle Michael's living there, staying there too, and he was like, "Yeah, I cut off my fucking hand. I'm gonna have to go to the hospital. This and that third." And Uncle Mike was like, "You don't need to do all that." Guess what, buddy? What? I have everything that the hospital would have here at this house. This motherfucker brings out the whole, like, anesthetics, the little fucking needle tube where they actually stitch up with the damn shit with it, the gauze,
The stitches.
everything, the whole.
Everything.
Was he a
fucking,
mafia? Like, I understand, but like, was he a mafia doctor? Did he go by a painter's name by any chance? Like in the video game.
Frankie. Shh.
that's a boy.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Was it a joke? Because I
Was it?
because the actual question would be answers to that direct question, but technically yes, but I don't want to name names or none of that. But yes, but not for criminals. Not for criminals. No. No.
Yeah, man, tearing your hands up is pretty fucking gnarly.
It is.
I've torn my hands up.
And to
shit
have your
tons of
fucking
times.
uncle fucking be your surgeon and damn to sew your hand back up just before you go right back to the hospital because 2 weeks later his whole fucking hand's red from infection.
And the worst thing that's ever happened to me with my hand, and I even still have a little scar right here. The worst thing that ever happened was, there was this glass top on my mom's dresser. And every day I would every time I went in my mom's room to grab something for her, I would run my hand across the glass because I just liked the feeling. I don't know, it was just smooth and it felt nice. And my mom kept telling me, you know, day in, day out, don't do that. You're going to cut your hand one day. You're going to cut your hand one day. And I would test like the edge of it. And I'm like, it's so smooth and dull. It'll never cut me. Ooh, one day, lo and behold, it sure as hell did. And it cut me from here all the way up to here. But I think it might have started cutting me from here because that's where the scar's at, which tells me that was the deepest point. So it might have started from here and went all the way across. Like, it was about yay wide. It was pretty gnarly. Like, ugh.
Cutting your, like, the center of your palm is usually the worst part. Like, I'm used to scuffing up.
Oh, I did that.
This
Yeah.
like, part right here is usually where I scuff the most, but this is the worst.
Mine was a straight scratch from here to here.
Mine was all the way across.
I was climbing on a metal
right
gate.
here. Like one of those
As a kid,
sacrificial,
it
like,
was-
you know, sacrificial shits that they do on witch shows and whatnot.
Yeah, what is it called when you cut your hand and you shake hands with somebody that it's like a blood pact?
Yeah, it's a blood oath.
Blood oath, yeah.
Yeah, blood up on the pavement.
Blood oath with the pavement. It's like, alright, you have my blood now.
That glass
You-
forever.
Yo, why not break my
Yeah.
bone? I'll give you blood but no bones. Sprays but no brakes.
I mean,
That reminds me of the time when I was trying to do a trick, and you know that trick where you just like do a power slide on the ground. Well, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have anything to protect my knees. I was wearing shorts at the time. I did a power slide at the tennis court, and I ended up scraping my knees so bad the blood was just constantly dripping. So I had to walk home with my knees cut up, just dripping blood, and just until I got to the house. That's when I cleaned them, disinfected them, and I couldn't walk on my knees for a couple days. That sucked.
No, I mean,
That was last summer.
skinning your knees is pretty
Hey.
shit, I would say. I think I've gotten better at it.
I still have the scars.
Yeah, I've gotten better.
Ooh!
No, I still have the scars from mine.
It's like, that was maybe like a week ago. I was at the park with my friend getting some flips. Just slipped out on.
I should probably just start
fucking hit my
cruising
knees.
again just for fun. Because like I kind of miss it. I have the skateboard that No Way gave me in my apartment still, and it just I haven't been using it.
You know,
I've been hanging out with
people
these
know,
guys.
yeah.
I should just start riding my skateboard over here.
We're talking showing our scars. I was like, well, I only have one gnarly scar, and that was from me falling up the escalator.
Up an escalator, dang.
Yeah,
That's
trying to
that's
catch
a unique injury.
trying to catch a movie, and one of the teeth legitimately went into my kneecap, like
Ooh.
peeled the skin in type shit. Didn't realize how bad it was because I'm over here trying to watch the movie Inception, and I'm over here feeling like an hour and a half in. I'm like, I feel my leg being extraordinarily wet right now.
That is a really good testament to how captivating Inception is as a movie. You were so fucking
Second time watching the movie.
Oh,
Was
wow.
it Inception
You were-
2
you
or
were
you
really
watched
trying
it
to
twice?
No,
No, watch
twice.
Inception
Twice, because I didn't understand what the fuck was going on the first time. And I was like, wait a minute, I need to rewatch this to make sure I'm connecting my dots here to make sure I'm not really like going crazy type shit. Because I think bro got lost into the damn shit, into limbo.
I think
Yeah.
that with Inception, like, whenever I first saw it, I didn't fucking get it. And then it was one of those few movies where, like, usually I'll rewatch movies, but I'll watch them years later. You know?
Right.
It's been like 5-10 years.
Where you
so
kind of
I'll
like
again.
forget like the main storyline, but you remember the main parts of the movie type shit.
Where, like,
Inception
they're
was
just
like-
falling into each other's dreams.
Inception, I watched it and I was like, I'm gonna watch this like a week
I have
from
a
now, and
copy
I
of
watched
it.
it a week later because I was just like, my brain was turning it over so many times.
Same.
Like, what the fuck is happening?
Same.
I had to watch it twice just to figure out what was happening because the first time, like, I understood it for the most part, but then I was like, I had so many questions about other parts because I was like, am I sure I saw this right? Did I get that right? Did I get this right? It was like the very small little plots that I was just so hooked on. And
Yeah, it was very rewatchable. Like you get your money's worth because you always find something new to like ponder over.
I remember that like the one thing that was like a big contingency thing for a lot of people was that they were like, does the fucking top fall over or not? Like they were like really mad about that. And I was I don't care. I was just like, I think it's an open-ended sort of.
It is.
No, it does, but they
really
edited it
supposed
out.
to matter. Like
To piss off the audience. It was like they're on a little tee-hee.
well, yeah, I mean, it's
the
like,
thing about it is, though, you see it about to topple over. That's the thing. If you actually watch it all the way through, and if you see it, it does like a little fast spin, because when he showed it and he spun it, it was a constant spin. It wasn't going to stop. But when they showed at the end of it, it was about to like legitimately stop and topple over.
That just explains it.
are there
was
are there
losing
tops
momentum.
that can topple and still get back up though? I mean, there are tops that can do that.
Beyblades.
There's tops that can go down and then get back up. So.
And that's right there. I feel like they did that on purpose, just for the viewers' conception of how they want to end the story.
You know why they did it? So that we could be having this conversation. Like
Pretty
this.
much.
They wanted people to talk about it and be like, what happened?
Yeah,
It's
then
like, to me, it just doesn't really matter. I'm like, I think that whether or not he's in limbo is kind of like just a closure thing. Like, do you want closure of a fictional character? Yes or no?
no, I do not want close.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care about the closure part. I just want Inception 2 just to continue that world.
I mean,
That would be
It
nice.
was a pretty cool concept.
Different
of-
damn, like what they're doing with John Wick, for goodness sakes. You know what I'm saying?
Did you see the recent commercial for that ballerina movie that's from the world of John Wick?
Yeah. John Wick is in it?
Well, you
No.
were here, Frankie, when we watched that. So I was
yeah.
asking our
Oh,
guest
sorry,
here.
my bad. Usually it's only the
I
three
don't
of
believe
us.
So I was gonna say that that is a very like monkey's paw type of request to like have a follow up to a movie that you like, because for me that was like The Matrix. Fucking love the first one. Next couple movies, I was like,
We gotta end.
it's still like was cool to me.
It's okay.
Fourth one
It's just
pushed
the
it.
writing.
The
Yeah.
fourth one kind of was like, all right, I'm not gonna watch.
Well, the thing is, the fourth one was too meta. The fourth one was literally saying, "Hey, this is being revived because people want the Matrix again," and it was like,
Really?
isn't this kind of just reflective of what's going on in the real world? And I think that's what they were going for. They were trying to like kind of fuck with your head a little bit, like, oh yeah, this is exactly what's happening. But it's like, well, if you're admitting that you're doing it, that doesn't make it any less shitty.
Right.
No.
Right?
And the main thing, you're
like,
using cheaper fucking graphics for
Special effects,
yeah, special effects for it.
Oh, I love fucking looking at the special effects for like the original Matrix. 'Cause
Yes.
they
they
really
did such a good job.
They did really like, compared to the other three, they really like on the fourth one. Like it was.
They just did some really like revolutionary stuff. Like the directors, like I'm trying to remember some of the stuff that they did. It was like they did the
slow-mo.
360 shot with the
Mhm.
it was a bunch of cameras in a circle for the scene where Neo is like doing the
dodging the bullets.
dodging the bullets, and he's going like way back, and then it
Mhm.
does the 360 shot. The way that they did that was it was like all a green screen set where they had cameras in a circle and they were at different heights, and they took like footage from each of those center shots instead of doing a rotating camera. Like, because I mean, you would ask like, why didn't they just take a 360 camera and spin it around Neo instead of getting like a shit ton of cameras all lined up, getting different shots and then blending it together. I can't remember the reason why, but I think it had something to do with just like motion blur and the fact that a lot of that scene was also rendered in CG with like his trench coat. Like his trench coat's like totally CG. I mean, he's wearing one, but they're also replacing it because when you're going in slow motion, it's really hard if you're getting multiple angles in slow motion, and then you're also having to match the cloth on each frame. So they basically replaced the cloth with the fake cloth, so that each frame they could get a much more consistent looking shot, right? And I mean, it's only for like certain shots, but you can tell if you rewatch it, it's like, oh yeah, that trench coat is like not really rippling in the wind. It's kind of just like hanging there or whatever. But the also cool part is it's the Matrix, so it would make sense if it didn't perfectly reflect reality, right?
Are you okay, Frankie?
The motion. We're just talking about 3D motion, and then Frankie was getting into
I'm
motion.
Mm.
That's all it was. Frankie had a little motion sickness. That was it.
Yeah. Just a little motion sickness.
I mean, we were just talking about 3D cameras and everything and how they were moving
And then all
on
of
the
a sudden,
motion.
there you go. Bloop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I was like,
it's
well, he got
being on a
motion
roller
sickness.
coaster. It's like being on the iceberg
Sorry
at
about that,
SeaWorld.
folks.
I really like talking about how they do special effects.
Of course.
That's really fucking cool.
I mean,
It is. Look how they did Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters. They and the new one, they did pretty okay. It's like wasn't as good as the other ones.
Wait. I have a question.
Like, yeah.
Which new one?
there's two.
There's two.
Oh, that's right.
Three.
the
Three.
good one?
Actually,
Or the
three.
one I consider
I've
trash.
only seen the original.
I like.
There's three.
I like the first one.
Only seen the original.
Well, this is what they did.
Ghostbusters.
Seth, with the Ghostbusters. The
Well,
first
let's just call it
rehab one
Ghostbusters 3.
was them doing daughters of the original Ghostbusters.
That's one you didn't like?
In the original two, they
I didn't
said,
watch-
that didn't
They
happen.
can't go off
the
the
daughters
third-
didn't
the
part
fourth
didn't
one.
happen. We're gonna do
They
another.
retconned it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the kids, and that actually fits.
I
storyline
like
a
the
little
one
bit
with
better.
the kids. That's the one I consider the good one. The one
Ones.
with Melissa McCarthy and all that. I'm sorry, no.
Isn't
As much as I like Melissa McCarthy, no, just
Well,
no.
My
Tuesday-
favorite Ghostbusters is the one where Dan Aykroyd gets his dick grabbed by a ghost and he goes.
Oh
the
yeah,
first
that
one.
was the first one.
The original.
That's
And
what
that
I'm
was in
saying.
the
That's best
commercial
one.
sequence for the Ghostbusters when they bought the fire department and the truck.
Dude, that.
I remember
fucking-
that.
That's like I remember a few scenes from that movie, and that one is one where I was just like I saw it when I was way too young. I was like, "Mommy, why is he making that face?"
My main concern was the scary one in the library. That was the one that scarred me the
That
most.
scarred me for life, man.
Oh, that one,
It
yeah.
made me scared to go around corners in libraries.
Yeah, exactly. It served its purpose. Make sure you're scared of ghosts.
All right, so this new conspiracy
No, it made me
theory,
scared of libraries.
Ghostbusters included that scene to make kids scared of reading. It's designed to make you stupid.
Really?
That's a
you heard it
really
here,
good
folks.
conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory.
They put the library scene in to make you not read.
Well, it almost worked, but I'm still a bookworm. One day we'll have to get a good shot of the library that we have in our home,
Right.
which is currently packed away at the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember other stuff from Ghostbusters, man. Like
I can't forget about Slimer.
Slimer.
I can't forget about Slimer. What?
Dude,
I never-
and I love how they brought Slimer back with the one with the kids, and the snot-nosed boy found it. Like, oh my god, it was so great. You know, his sister's like, you either in or you out, and he's like, I'm out. And then Slimer ends up finding him, and he's like, oh crap.
What's funny to me
He gets the
is,
fake treatment.
the thing that grossed me out with the Slimer scene as a kid was not the fact that he was like slime. That's not what grossed me out. It was the way he was eating the food.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fucking gross.
Yeah.
Like,
Straight gluttonous.
Slimer is gluttony.
Yeah.
And all you
It's
see
like
is
the
just
embodiment of
all you see is all fall out. Just the
Yeah.
after effects. That's the worst part.
As
Oh, this
Venkman's
is
just
gross.
standing
Talk about
there
some- talk about you want
looking at
some
him like,
seafood?
I got one in sight. I got a big fat boogery green one in sight. And Slimer hears him and he's like, booger green, I'll show you. That's what I imagine Slimer was thinking when he turned around and started to attack
So it's on
Venkman.
site.
He's like, oh, booger green, huh? Booger monster, eh? I'll show you, booger monster.
I gotta say, that's a really bad game plan from him, though. I mean, if there was a guy named the Seth Buster, and I'm Seth, and I hear him talking shit, I'm like, you know what? If your whole job is taking me out, I'm probably just gonna avoid you, because you're probably really good at it.
I'm not gonna lie. I always
Slimer
wanted to
didn't
get rained on by falling melted marshmallows.
You wanna do,
The pill, yeah.
the fucking, like, have
The
you ever-
giant marshmallow
have you ever
monster.
stuck a
Stay
marshmallow-
Puft-
have
the
you
The
ever
Stay
Stay
stuck a
Puft
in the microwave?
Marshmallow Man.
Or like you ever put a peep in a microwave?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Seen it just like, and the
Explode.
texture is like really like
Plasticky.
sticky. Yeah, like whenever you take it out and you feel it and everything, it's just a super gross, like really stretchy texture, and it's cool because they use that a lot in like special effects for like that consistency. They'll just like dye it red or something. If they need,
Yeah, for
some-
like guts and stuff, or like,
yeah.
you know, when they're eating guts out of a person.
I'll be a
scenes
cannibal
and
for that.
whatnot.
I'll be a cannibal for that.
Does
it taste
good?
Delicious. The sugary blood.
My mom's best friend was married to this guy named Dean, and he did all the special effects makeup for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And he had like some of the masks, and he had I think Jason Voorhees, like what he actually looks underneath the mask, and that was like pretty terrifying. He had a couple of masks from The Hills Have Eyes from when he helped work on that set, and he talked about Johnny Depp a lot, and he's like, Johnny Depp is like so freaking cool. Blah, 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 blah.
He is. I've met him.
And he told us a couple of secrets, like the marshmallow thing, and how when they do like vampire scenes where they're like drinking blood and whatnot, it's like they take maple syrup and like water it down a little bit to give and dye it that dark red to give the blood consistency.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, old Johnny Depp.
Dean was a super cool guy. Like, and he did like
What do
he
you got
showed
on Johnny
pictures
Depp?
of him working with Johnny Depp doing his makeup, and the dude that played as Davy Jones as well.
My uncle and dad were hung out and were best friends with Johnny Depp. But then he got rid of feelings and said fuck his friends. So
Well,
Let's
yeah,
feel
that's
his-
what they tell you to do when you get famous. They tell you ditch your family, ditch your friends.
oh yeah, it's his childhood friends. So
That's
yeah. So yeah, I'll say he's great, but my side of him was like, oh yeah, he is great until
He became famous.
and he becomes famous, and then he chooses who he wants to be friends with, other than the friends that actually were friends with him. But
Hear that, Johnny?
nah, that I just
Sure, he's listening.
I'm pretty sure he could care less.
What I was gonna say is about what was the character from Pirates of the Caribbean where he had the fucking octopus beard?
Davy Jones.
Davy Jones.
So Davy Jones. One of my favorite things about Davy Jones was his special effects.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
what's crazy is
The
how old that
tentacles.
movie is. That movie's pretty fucking old.
It still
I
looks
mean, now.
Yeah.
And it looks
Great.
better.
Now.
It looks better than most like modern movies, like in
Mhm.
terms of just how
Like,
visually
what happened
impressive
to the
it is.
animation?
Yeah.
I think that the main thing that changed in the industry was like it's really a big reliance on green screen, but it's also like they're not like focusing too much on
setting or scenery anymore.
putting the money towards like actually making lighting look good and paying animators more and stuff like that. I think that animators were paid a lot more back in the day. Because at the time, like that was what was considered to be just the most like important aspect of making like visual effects look good. And
Now they're
Especially
coming out with-
hand-drawn
nowadays, it's like
effects.
nowadays it's not that visual effects are bad. It's just that the techniques that they use are a lot like cheaper in the sense that they're trying to cut corners wherever they can because like we're not going to pay animators as much, we're not going to pay the editors as
Yeah,
much.
of course, because you can blame for that.
Biden?
No. Why are you gonna blame political things? No. A whole other industry that has been doing practical effects and special effects and CGI. Video game industry. Think about it.
You're right.
Unreal Engine 5. Right where you're talking about is right when the whole stream movie industry is like, yeah, we're not going to do sceneries anymore.
You
We're
mean
just
Unreal Engine 4?
no,
Unreal
no.
Engine 4 was the start of it. Unreal Engine 5 is the newest development where everything looks extremely real that you
And
can
that's
almost not tell the
And
difference.
that's what I'm
With
talking about.
Unreal Engine 4, you can tell the difference.
Yes, and that's where I'm saying where Unreal Engine 5 is where they say, right, during this whole time frame, when the Hollywood say they're cutting animators and everything else. Because they have a whole program that Unreal Engine 5 was coming out with that was going to be for movies and video games. And customization
Which is
where
what-
anyone can use it. So therefore anyone can freaking use it. Why wouldn't they pay someone to use it?
I'll hit you with a hot take, and it's that I don't think that like when it comes to visual effects that like it needs to look realistic. Like I hate that opinion. I hate the opinion that everything needs to look like as perfect as possible because to me the more important thing is like the whole shot and how it's composite, right? So if you're watching a movie, the purpose of you watching a movie is to watch the movie, not to be like, I wonder what the visual effects are. Like, I mean, if you're a visual effects artist, I can understand that perspective. And I mean, even for the average viewer, they're probably going to be curious, like, oh, how did they do that? But the point of the movie is to get like engrossed in the story
Mhm.
and how everything's happening. Like, oh, this
And
is
to
cool,
be
right?
immersed into the world.
Mhm.
And
Yes!
The thing is, like,
I
your
was thinking the same
imagination is gonna kind of fill those gaps in anyways. You know, if things don't look exactly perfect. Good example, like I was saying, The Matrix. If you go back and look at some of it, you can see, like, if you pause on certain frames. Really good example is the scene with Agent Smith, like where there's like 50 of them.
Right.
All those are just like
Legit copies.
they're well, some are copies, and then some are actual other actors. So if you pause and look, you're like, that's not fucking Wes Anderson. That's or is that his name? No. It's Hugo. It's Hugo Weaving. That's who it is. I don't know why I said Wes Anderson, but Hugo Weaving is the fucking guy who played Agent Smith. And there's like other people that are just dressed up as him.
Lookalikes.
Yeah. So if you look at those things, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see some inconsistencies and stuff, right? But the thing is, when you're watching it, you're not really thinking that. You're getting like,
Yeah, the
oh,
frames
you're
are
getting
going by too
engrossed in the
fast
whole
for you to
thing.
even think
Yeah.
it.
So I don't think that things need to look like super realistic, and that's another thing with fight scenes. Like, one of my least favorite. This is a great example of something I hated in a Marvel movie. Usually, I didn't hate Marvel's visual effects, but it was the fight in Black Panther. Because the way that the shot is composited, it's where they're in the underground fucking base, and it's Black Panther versus Killmonger, and they're both in their
they're in the
suits and they're
cave.
fighting. The thing is, it's like it's not lit super well, and also the fight is happening really fast, and there's not a lot of there's a lot of detail in the environment. It's a very futuristic looking environment. It's
Of
like,
course.
it looks like it's in the middle of some like spaceship, right? But the thing is, there's not a lot going on like in the actual background. It's kind of hard to like establish yourself in this environment. Whereas like in a scene where two guys are fighting on the street in a city, it's like, okay, I can establish where they're at. There's a city here. There's fences here, trash cans here, blah blah blah. Your brain kind of creates like this imaginary area. Whereas when I was watching that fight, I'm like, I'm watching a movie. Watching a weird like CGI fight. Like there's not even actors in this shot. This is complete CGI. It looks like a video game cutscene. And that's not to say that like the whole movie looks bad. It's just that shot really like took me out of the movie because I was so distracted by how it looked. And it's like the important thing was just the way that they were handling like the motion. Because if you pause on any frame, it looks amazing. It's a great looking visual. Like it all looks super realistic. The lighting's good. But it's that
it takes the practicality out of it.
It's the compositing. It's the fact that like your brain is literally looking at two like characters in black suits in a dark environment go back and forth and not much else. You know,
You can't see their faces. You can't see their expressions. The fight's happening way too fast for you to catch the motions. Because like one thing for me with fight scenes is that I like to study the fighters in the ways that they're moving, defending, blocking, hitting, anything. And so when I can't see it, I get bored. My mind immediately turns off. It's like, okay, and I just sit there and I'm like, when's the next scene? Where there's better lighting,
I fell asleep during Black Panther.
I almost fell asleep during Sinners.
I haven't really kept up with Marvel. Like,
I'm not a big.
Sinners is the new
DC's better.
vampire movie that just came out.
See,
it's hard because like I like the heroes, I like the stories, but that's totally separate from the MCU. That's more of like a comic fan thing. Like, I like the superheroes. That doesn't mean that I like their movies.
I like DC.
I mean,
You wanna know
nothing
what's
against
funny?
DC. I think that DC's good too.
His friend CB put it the most perfect way about like the differences between Marvel and DC is that with DC you have gods trying to be humans, and on the other side with Marvel it's humans trying to be gods. Except for Thor.
Except for
Except for Thor.
Yeah.
He's
He's God already, but he's the only one that doesn't care.
I get you. I mean,
Excelsior.
I think back on the visual effects thing though, with like a good-looking one
Stan
is like
Lee.
Iron Man. I love the way that Iron Man's like suit up scene looks in the first movie because they sit on that shot for so long where he's suiting up, and it really kind of puts you in this setting, right? Where it's like I can see each piece fitting together, almost like you're putting together a fucking like Lego,
Right.
like thing.
A Lego town.
Yeah. So it's like it's pretty cool that it was animated in a way that was like they that shot, dude, of him suiting up was probably so fucking expensive. That was probably like maybe one of the most expensive shots in the movie just because of how long it took to render, how many different artists they needed on it, and like animators doing each
Excuse
specific
me a
thing.
moment.
But if you look at like the newer, films, there's none of that like weight where when he's using the little nanobots and suiting up or whatever, it's like everything's just whoop, 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 okay, like CGI just he's Iron Man, and it's like it doesn't really. I mean, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It's like, okay, that was cool, like especially thinking about how they rendered it and everything. But it doesn't sit on it long enough to help you really like soak in, like I said, the weight. You don't feel the individual parts of the machine clicking together and getting screwed in place and tight and everything. Like, but also I bet that the newer scenes are probably a lot cheaper to fucking make.
Well, also kind of I get that right, but I'm also looking at like, well, if we're talking about how pretty much showing how Tony Stark progressed from the first movie to now, because now he probably is finding and inventing new metals are probably more lighter looking and damn quicker to assemble together. So they're probably using that technique, that storyline, or because that's how I think it was in the comic books, why he can like change so quickly, and they're using that to their advantage for it. Yeah,
like they're like you said, they're using it to their advantage. So it's like
it makes sense to why it's doing what it's doing.
It's not the story part that really bothers me. It's just that like. My question to people would be like, which shot would you rewatch? Would you rewatch the scene of the 360, him in the Stark Tower or whatever, just like
first
pieces clicking into place, the first suit when it's all getting put together, or would you rather see him just jumping up and it going, like, which shot is just more interesting? It's the fucking
first one.
It's the first one where all the pieces
are clicking together.
Yeah.
The original. That's what most people are going to say.
Yeah.
It's the original. They don't want us. It's basically because those ones that they're doing now is basically like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They transform. The first episode's gonna be a long, elaborate transformation. The other transformations is gonna be quick. Cutscene. There it is. They transform to their suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just not as intriguing anymore. It's just like Ranger, and it's like boom, and it's not like a whole sequence. Like Iron Man, where like you said, the suit just kind of like and it's all cool looking, but I kind of like the whole everything's snapping into place. Like that's just way more quote badass in my opinion, because it reminds me of like Transformers or Gundam or something, and how like it's just like the the slow is like awesome.
Well, another thing too is like if you look at movie making technique, it's like something that they would literally teach you in film school is that it's like you don't need to do long shots. You don't need to do a shot that lasts for 30 seconds.
Right.
You don't have to. But it's like think about when you're trying to engross your audience in the film, because there's going to be low engagement points. There's going to be points where not as much is happening, and they're like, whatever.
Rising plot right here.
Yeah, the plot's happening around us or whatever. But as soon as you have like that long, lasting shot showing, Tony Stark, and you're slowly seeing the pieces get put together, it sucks the audience's attention in, because they're like, "Whoa, this is fucking cool," like.
Oh, we're probably getting somewhere now.
Yeah, well, it's like it's also just way more interesting looking. You're seeing like how the suit gets put together, and then if you look at the whole thing with the nanotech, it's like, well, since it's a much shorter shot, even if it does look interesting, the audience is only going to be engaged with that for a moment. And I think that if you think about like building it, you have to kind of build anticipation, right, for like what's about to happen. Because when you see him suiting up the first time, it's like you don't know what's about to happen. You have no clue. All you're seeing is just Iron Man, right? Whereas like in these newer scenes, he's suiting up and instantly getting into the fight like that, right? So as far as your engagement goes, like there hasn't been any anticipation built of like, oh, what's gonna happen? It's just like, oh, okay, well now he's here.
It's like beforehand, Iron Man would be in the sky suiting up, or he'd be on the way suiting up, and he has Jarvis looking ahead of time, seeing what the scene looks like so that he can come up and formulate a plan, and they kind of like go through it before he hits the scene. And like you said, nowadays it's like suit up fight. There's no anticipation of, oh, Tony Stark got a fucking plan, and this is how he gonna do it. But it's just suit. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
and that's why I like the animated Iron Man series.
Well, that's why I said that's the difference between
it's lazy writing.
Well, no, it's not lazy writing. That's the difference between a movie and a show. You got to think about time runs and everything else and scene replay.
Well, nowadays they're making 3-4 hour freaking long movies. They don't care anymore.
They have animated Iron Man movies. The animated Iron Man movies are better than the newer ones. I know.
In
my opinion,
Iron Man
I remember the
2
animated
is my
show.
favorite.
No,
The
the Iron Man 2 was good, but I like Iron Man 1. That's my personal favorite.
It was a 3D animated show. It was an Iron Man show. I think it was called Armored Adventures or something.
Yeah, I remember
that show
that
was
one.
cool.
Yeah,
That
that was-
show I actually
I
thought was
remember
sick.
something like that. Yeah.
It was like two. They made two Iron Man shows. They made the one that you're all talking about, then the anime Iron Man, alongside with the
That's right,
Blade
that one too.
anime and the Wolverine anime.
I remember this. I bought a couple of
I was
episodes
watching the
of this on
Wolverine anime.
iTunes and had the motion comic book for the Iron Man, I think. These. That's another thing I miss. Motion comic books, because it's like
They don't know how to do hand drawn, effects anymore.
no, they don't. That's the problem.
They don't know how to do
Those-
stuff
oh.
like Snow White and Cinderella or like the motion comics. They don't know how to do that drawing animation style
that
anymore.
it's not that people don't know how to do that anymore. It's literally just the fact
Wait,
that they don't want
Nick
to pay
has something
artists
to say.
as much. They don't want to pay them as much.
Yes, this
I-
is
I
all
read an
Marvel's
article-
problem,
I read an
not
article
DC's
recently,
problem. DC has Jim Lee running the show at DC.
That's true.
And Jim Lee was the one that innovated our known today Batman. Like,
Well, okay, then let me clarify. At least when it pertained to Disney, this article that I read, when it comes to Disney, they no longer have the knowledge to make hand-drawn cartoons anymore. They don't know how to do it anymore. So Snow White, Cinderella, stuff like that, that's the last of its kind. It's gone.
Well, thankfully,
Well,
Disney's
something
not the
that
only studio
Walt Disney
that
works
releases
so
2D
hard for.
animation.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I mean, it's good that like 2D animation, I don't think is dying. I think it's just as far as like bigger industries go, like Disney. It generally takes more time to do hand-drawn animation, and you have to pay people more because you're paying people. It's like
Skill, talent, and time.
yeah, like think about how many people on this planet could do that type of animation at the speed that they want. It's not the fact that like there's not enough artists, it's the fact that their requirements are like, we need you to draw like this in 15 minutes or whatever, and it's like, well, if I do it in 15 minutes, it's not going to look as good, right? It's going to look a little sloppy, and it's like,
Yeah,
we
we'll
don't
get-
care. You
we
don't
don't
get
care.
you don't get paid if you don't do it. in
You
15
get paid.
minutes.
You get paid by the show. What do you mean by the show? You're going to be the artist that we're going to put in front of stage where families come in and they will draw right after, and you tell them how you draw it, but you got to draw it fast.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do at their animations.
That's what Nickelodeon did, right? With Butch Hartman and how, or Bret Hartman, whatever his name was.
No, it's Bush. Yeah.
Butch. Yeah, you remember how at the end of some of the shows, especially the Very Odd Parents, he would teach you how to draw Cosmo, Wanda, Timmy's dad, or Danny Bantam, stuff
Yeah.
like that. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember those. Those were fun.
I really like the.
I followed along
SpongeBob episode.
and I learned how to draw Timmy Turner, Cosmo, Wanda, Danny Phantom. That was so much fun. That's what really got me into like that type of stuff, like the drawing stuff, not the animation part.
What really got me into animation was the thing with SpongeBob where they were explaining how they lip sync. Like they were like, okay, here's us recording Tom Kenny's lines, and then here's us showing like they would go like play it in slow motion, right? So if it's SpongeBob saying hello, they're like, here's it, and then you get to the animator booth and you see them like drawing the mouth shape for like, oh, his tongue needs to be here if he's saying L because that's what we do with our tongues when we pronounce like L, we put our tongues here.
Just so that it makes sense.
It needs to be. Oh, you're right. And I just thought that was really interesting because as a kid, you're just watching him talk, and in your head, it's like SpongeBob is a person. Like you don't think that SpongeBob is like this separate entity that they're creating. It's like, no, that's SpongeBob. So then when you hear it's like, oh, it's this dude in a booth, and they're just lip syncing it. Some kids see that and it like makes them mad. Like, oh, I'm mad that magic's ruined. But for me, I was like, that kind of added a new layer of magic of like, how do they do that, right? Like that's so cool.
Yeah, and like remember those toilet booth things where like they'll go in with the headphones and like they'll do the interviews and stuff with the voice actors from Nickelodeon, like the person who did Jimmy Neutron and Timmy Turner and stuff like that, and the Rugrats. That was so cool. I guess we got to see what they look like and how they make those really cool voices, and then they would have a clip on the side from the show and them talking.
Oh yeah. Do you guys know about Sid the Science Kid?
Yeah.
The episode that they did,
It sounds so familiar. but
one
I
of
don't
the most
remember.
like fuck things I've ever seen was, Sid always asks like questions at the beginning of the show, right? So he'd be like, "Mom, Dad, how does this work?" And the most fucked up episode of Sid the Science Kid is, "Where do I come from?"
Oh, I remember that one.
It's the one where he goes through
The
the
tail.
cabinet. He goes through the cabinet,
The
through the
equal
wall,
question.
and then he walks into the animation studio, and it's so fucking meta. It's so like layer on layer, because it's like, okay, they're explaining how they make Sid the Science Kid to Sid as he's being animated in this situation. So like, you know what I mean? They had to like think about.
Wow,
Sensory.
talk about like
Sensory
the
of this
Matrix.
question.
They had to animate him going into the studio, and it's like, this is a little bit too meta. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Who Framed
And-
Roger Rabbit right now?
Yeah.
And the most fucked up part was it like traumatizes Sid, right? Because in his head he's like, God, I'm not real. I'm a fictional character. Like I'm some guy in a voice booth. They're just animating me, right?
Yeah.
And then they fucking wipe his memory like Men in Black style at the end of the episode. They literally pull out the thing and fucking boop, and like wipe his memory. And he's like, hey mom, hey dad. And he's like in a good mood again. And I was like, this show is for fucking kids. Like, how is a kid gonna be able to
How do I
process
not remember that shit?
Dude, that's literally like,
I
what
watched
you're
that
watching-
episode.
What you're watching is a kid being exposed to that. Basically, the kid is in the seat of Sid in that episode, right? If you think about it, the kid is Sid because they're learning and Sid's learning, and then like it traumatizes them, and then on top of that, again, like I said, the extra layer is they had to animate him in the studio. So like it's not even I mean, obviously it's not real. Obviously it's not real, but the point is like they're emphasizing how not real
Can you
it
imagine
is.
watching an episode and running over to your mom and dad? All right, mom, where are they at? What are you talking about? Where are the people that are joining us right now? Where are they? I need to know, how am I made?
Oh, that reminds me.
And they're gonna be like, what?
That reminds me of the Bugs Bunny episode where he's raging against his animators.
Oh, breaking the fourth
That's Daffy
wall.
Duck. That was
Daffy Duck,
that was
Yeah,
Daffy
Daffy
Duck.
Duck.
where they
Yeah.
erase his mouth.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it Daffy?
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Didn't they do one with Bugs too?
No. No, Bugs was the one that
I know
Bugs
the one
was
I
the one
remember
that was
Daffy.
messing with Daffy
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
editor. That was the kicker.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why my brain associates it with.
Yeah, because it ends with the episode saying with Bugs saying with the pencil.
What's
You know
up,
what-
Doc?
you know
Ain't I
what's
a
funny?
stinker?
Ain't I a thinker?
Ain't I a stinker?
What a
Okay,
maroon.
stinker.
What a maroon.
That was a really good impression, but no, it's like what was I about to say? Oh yeah, that reminded me of Doodle Bob, and I was gonna say the funny
Doodle
thing about,
Bob!
I have that
Doodle
game.
Bob was Doodle Bob wasn't meta. It wasn't like, oh, this is how SpongeBob was made. It was just an episode about a pencil. And I was
A
like,
magical pencil.
yeah, I was like, I feel like if they wanted to encourage kids to draw or whatever, like that's a better way of going about doing it. Because I think that usually when like a studio wants to inspire kids to make stuff, they would make something like the Sid the Science Kid episode to be like, oh hey, we're a team of people that work together to make this. Like this is fun. But you also have to think about like how
The
are you doing it?
psychological
Yeah,
effect,
What's
like-
what are you conveying?
They didn't think about the repercussions.
You're playing God
No,
right
they
now.
I've
did.
never
That-
seen that episode of Sid the Science Kid. Like it sounds familiar to me, but I don't think I ever watched it. I think I've
Dude,
heard it.
It's
But-
crazy.
You know, as you were sitting there telling the story, you know, from your perspective and how, like, you know, in your mind it went down and it would or wouldn't encourage somebody, it would be, like, horrifying and would take, you know, the imagination away from
She'd
me.
be the
Yeah.
traumatized kid.
I'd be
She'd
the traumatized one.
She'll take after Sid. Oh my God, they're gonna wipe my memory. Now they're gonna wipe my memory. I don't want to not lose his memory.
Right. Forbidden knowledge.
Mm-mm.
What? Alright, anyways.
Nothing.
Oh, Frankie just, like, you know, jumped really hard up and down in the chair, and I was like, whoa, easy there. That chair is about as old as you.
Trying to readjust themselves.
I'm sorry, it's not comfy. It's an old chair, okay?
They don't make cartoons like they used to, man, because
They don't make chairs like
they
they
used to be
used
I have no
traumatizing.
comment.
Like Courage, dude. That shit
Courage
was
is
traumatizing.
I remember Courage. Yes.
Yes.
it was very traumatizing.
Now
Even
that
the
I'm an
video
adult
games.
and I've like went back and rewatched some of the Courage episodes, I'm like, what was I watching? And why did my mom, who was always in the kitchen, you know, watching this stuff with me, why did she let me?
I
That
wondered
was
the
one of
same
those
thing.
things
She
where-
did the same. That's the same scenario I had.
But you know what? Courage got the right homage. Because you know why? He had the mystery crew come in and visit nowhere. They did a whole collab with
I
Scooby
remember
Doo.
that, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did. And they did another one with the Winchester boys. They did that too
From
with
Supernatural?
Supernatural. Yeah, they did a Courage and Supernatural episode as well
How the hell
as
do
a
I not
Scooby
remember
Doo
that?
and Supernatural episode.
No, that's actually a true thing.
It's a true thing.
Tori showed me and everything, and he was like, "Yeah, this actually is true." And it's a whole 45-minute episode of all the Winchesters being animated with Scooby Doo and trying to figure out who the demon.
That's sick, dude. I was gonna say about Courage, what was funny is like that was one of those shows where
I feel like
you
I missed out on life
you
now.
couldn't talk to your parents about it. Like, you can talk to your parents about SpongeBob, right? Like, what did SpongeBob and Patrick do today, Seth? And I'd be like, well, they got into Sandy's rocket and went to the moon or whatever, right? Whereas Courage, it was like, oh, hey, son, you were watching Courage earlier. What's that about?
This dog is getting traumatized, and this cat is.
It's about a dog. And like that's it. you don't tell them anything else.
It's just like like if you were to like try and try and explain a Courage episode, I don't know why this one was the first one that pops in my brain. I guess it might have been the one that traumatized me the most. No, it wasn't even that one. It was the diner with the hamburgers.
That one.
The one where they made the meat out of the faces
Season 1,
or whatever.
episode 3 or episode 2.
Yeah, that one. Like, you're trying to
That
explain
one.
it to them, and it's
Cannibal
like, well,
Letdown.
it's about a dog and his owner, and they go to this burger place, and they eat burgers, and then the dog goes to the basement and finds out that the burgers are made of people.
Dude, the one that traumatized me wasn't
It's
even
funny
the
that we
episode.
were allowed to watch Courage the Cowardly Dog, but we weren't allowed to watch Ed, Edd and Eddie.
I think that my parents just
I was
they didn't
allowed to
even
watch
know.
that.
My parents didn't
I
know any
wasn't.
better. They didn't know how bad Courage was, so they were just like, whatever, enjoy the show. Like, because they didn't really watch TV with me usually. They would just be like, okay, you can just go. In
Well,
the
didn't
room and
Courage
watch
originally start off on Adult Swim before
No.
it got... No, that was Codename Kids Next Door?
No. None of them.
But yeah, so
Fun
the thing
fact.
with Courage was like,
SpongeBob was supposed to be an Adult Swim show.
Really?
well,
Yeah.
I remember Johnny Bravo was like Seth MacFarlane's first like show that he was trying to pitch to Adult Swim. Like it was supposed to be on there, but they would only put it on cartoon, so they had to like tone it down a little bit. But that's also like if you look back at Johnny Bravo, it's pretty adult in terms of like the themes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really
But
kiddish.
it's for kids, yeah.
Mhm.
Like so that kind of explains why like the show is written that way because I really don't feel like you could make a show like Johnny Bravo nowadays
No.
for kids. Like,
No.
No,
Not at
not
all.
without somebody throwing a hissy fit.
No.
But what you're talking about, Frankie, about those car shows being Adult Swim, they are on Adult Swim at 5:30. They start the Adult Swim early hour.
Oh, the Adult Swim. That's what it
Mhm.
was.
That's what they're bringing. That's why they're bringing them back because of all the adult themes back then. Because you gotta remember this early 2000, late
Yeah.
90s.
Well,
late
And I
90s
think it's also a
cartoon.
psyop to keep us, the ones that were watching that shit, hooked on it in the nostalgia loop.
You
Yeah.
know what traumatized me from Courage was You're Not Perfect. Remember that?
Mhm.
No.
It was an episode where Courage was fighting with like some insecurity or something because he felt like Muriel was gonna replace him. or
Yep.
whatever.
I remember that one.
And he's laying in bed with Muriel as she's petting him, and as he starts to drift off to sleep, he has like this weird hallucination. And the thing is, so the show's 2D, right? They rendered this weird fucking like blue fetus thing. It's this weird 3D fetus thing with a
Mhm.
face, with a human face, looking at the camera and it goes, "You're not perfect." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
I
Like
know,
it
right?
scared the shit out of me as a kid.
And that's
dude.
like season 2, so
Why did
we're
they
already
put that
in this
in?
deep of scary
Why
stuff.
did they
The
put that
slab.
in? That's fucking traumatizing for a kid, dude. Like, you know that the people who made that show were just laughing their asses off. They're like, we're gonna fucking scare so many kids, dude. Like,
I think that those people might have been like on something while they were animating that stuff because like the whole one of the ones that was like the most creepy to me
mean,
was the puppets
They had.
and the bananas.
It doesn't
The
get.
whole Banana City thing.
It doesn't get any more adult. It doesn't even get more adult when you have Courage saving a prostitute. The
Yeah.
bunny. The
Yeah.
bunny.
that was literally an episode about prostitution, but it was written for kids. So like, it's. I was gonna say the thing with Courage is like it had a lot of adult themes like that, where it's like, yeah, sure, it's a cartoon, but it's crazy how they just like got away with it.
Well, you gotta realize though why a lot of animes got away with it though, because way before 1996, 97's the Batman cartoon animation style, and legitimately, I watched a documentary on the anime series. It was legitimately every single week. The writers and the animators were like, "All right, this is gonna be the weekend where we get fired because we legitimatally are pushing the boundaries of adult things in the kids show," and they won Grammys and won Oscars, so they didn't get censored for it. So I feel like shows after that in the Warner Brothers studios, because remember all these shows were named off from
They
cable
felt pretty
Cartoon
ballsy.
Network and Time Warner and Warner Brothers Studios type deal. So they were pushing that note
They were
until
just
now.
pushing the limits and the
remember-
boundaries until like laws and stuff, and like, oh, you can't do this. And
Exactly,
parents
now-
can-
And that's why we have
Um,
Cartoon Network as it is right now.
I
during
mean,
the
there
day.
might also be
It's,
the reason why you have a bunch of us that are just like, you know, super sensitive to some things, or like we're easily traumatized by something, or like me, I ended up having the dark humor, you know, the absurdly dark humor that came along with most of the stuff that we were watching back in the day. Like, not gonna lie, when you look at Ed and Eddie's, like, certain episodes, like, especially the ones that are burned in my brain, it's always the really sad, traumatizing ones that have the really dark humor tone to it.
Yeah, well, the guy who animated Ed, and Eddie, I'm trying to remember, like, his stuff before that was not even remotely for kids. It was, like, super graphic, the stuff that he animated. He was not, like, I remember when they gave him a show, his literal mindset was, like, I don't really need to change anything. He was like, I'm going to keep making the show, and I guess I'll try to make it for kids.
And he did a
His
good.
mindset was not, I'm going to make a good show for kids. It was literally just, I'm going to animate whatever the fuck I want, basically.
And have it based off these sweet storylines that they're trying to scheme.
Yeah.
Because that's what Julie was. They probably gave him like, all right, I'm gonna give you all a show, and I'm basically gonna get away with this little team of 3 kids trying to take everyone's money to get jawbreakers, but it's gonna be in the most grotesque, greedy, schemy kind of way. Because I remember a lot of shows where it had all of them sticking out their tongues, and like, you know, they did a lot of. Sometimes it was not necessarily body fluids, but like.
spit.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was like gross out humor or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't. It was like that kind of thing. Like when they damn.
Also
Ed's
suggestive
bedroom.
humor.
Like for
Ed's
example,
bedroom.
yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Or when they had the big ass jawbreaker in their mouth, you know, and they had the big ass slobber coming down.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, that stuff didn't really, like, bother me as a
No,
kid.
no,
It
but
didn't
that's the
bother
only
me
thing
as a
that comes
kid.
to mind right now as to why I would say that would
As an adult, it bug us.
I kind of found it gross as a kid. It's like,
because
and then I was eating a jawbreaker, and then after a while, I didn't want a jawbreaker.
But honestly,
Kinda
what
ruined it for me.
uncensored me though was Looney Tunes. Because when I was watching Ed and Eddie, it was all the slapstick humor to me. That's all all it was.
Yeah, we all grew up with Looney Tunes. Like,
Yeah.
come on. That's like the most violent cartoons ever.
Roadrunner,
That was
Wile E.
actually meant for
Coyote,
adults.
Back when
Marvin
you
the
could actually show
Martian.
guns in a kid show. of
Tom and
them
Jerry.
literally
Yo,
pulling
Sammy
out-
Sam,
Yeah, they
lighten
would literally
up.
pull out
Yosemite
guns and
Sam,
shoot
yeah.
each other. That shit. Dude, they used to make like suicide jokes in those shows. I mean, they still do make like some types of jokes.
Yeah,
like
like
that,
Wile E. Coyote. Every time he failed to get the Roadrunner, he would do something that would be considered along suicide humor lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say they still do kind of push that boundary. Like there was a scene in a recent SpongeBob episode from like, let's say maybe it was like 10 years ago, somewhere around that time frame. It was a scene where Squidward was putting up it shows Squidward really depressed, and he looks like he's about to do it, right? And it shows him pulling and setting up a rope, and you don't see like what's off frame.
No,
and it looks like he's setting up a noose, but it's actually a bird cage. And it cuts over to a bird cage, and the bird starts singing. He's like, and I'm like, you're not fucking slick. I know what joke you're making. You're literally
I
making it
think in
look
the
like he's
background-
putting a fucking noose up there.
I think in the background there is like a shadow that you see before it flips to there, and I think it does look like a noose at first.
I mean, it's definitely it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah.
Unless you're Jimmy Neutron.
Well, we had to be, and also,
Jimmy
if
Neutron
we
was a
really
rocket
had to be
scientist.
honest with ourselves, the original Looney Tunes, like cartoons, were meant for adults. Those cartoons got premiered in movie theaters before they got shown into movies. Like before they showed the actual Prime Video, those were like the starred up movies.
Yeah, people would go to the movies to go watch a 24-minute film.
That's where they got their news. That's where they got their little TVs. Because you gotta remember, this is a time where there was really no actual TVs in houses.
I might be
Yeah.
wrong about this, but wasn't Space Ghost like one of the first Adult Swim shows?
Yes,
Maybe
The talk show. The talk
It
show.
was one
Yeah.
of the first talk shows that
it was
they
a
did.
talk. It was like the first live talk shows they did type deal. That was like really adult rated, because there's only, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like the actual airtime when it was on TV was like 15 minutes, like Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
So they never went to commercial breaks. So it was like a long 15 minutes straight through.
Yeah. It was definitely like a short form show.
I remember Space Ghost. Like, I was 8 years old, and my dad would have Space Ghost on the TV.
Well, here's the fucked up thing.
And I'd be sitting there. My favorite character was the little green parrot,
The Mantis dude.
Mantis guy. Yeah, I don't know his name. I forget, but
I feel like it might have literally just been Mantis, but I can't remember.
It was just Mantis, and you got Baka, whatever his name was, the damn little lion-looking guy.
He's cool too. And then did he take over at some point?
Yeah, because they made his own movie and show type deal for Adult Swim. But you know what's really fucked up? I got introduced to Space Ghost to the original Space Ghost cartoon, like the 1980s cartoon.
I've been trying to find that.
It's on
But
Boomerang.
I had no
Boomerang.
internet.
Boomerang.
And I had no
I didn't know
cable.
that they still showed that.
I watched, be honest, most of the stuff I do know what you're talking about. Other times I don't, because why? I watch Canadian cartoons from about at some point in like Indian elementary school. all the way up to-
Canada.
Total
Yeah,
Drama fan spotted.
Canadian
This guy
cartoons.
probably grew up
No,
watching Total Drama Island.
Mhm.
Total Drama Island was Canadian.
yeah, it's Canadian, but no,
So
I
is,
watched Cubo.
Oh
Isn't
crap!
Kick Patowski also Canadian? I think.
Yeah, that one is.
Canadian Disney cartoon.
Dude, I
Hey, Total Drama
I love
Island-
Kick Patowski. That shit was awesome.
Total Drama Island was not that bad. Like it was
Like, the
actually
first
pretty
season, yeah.
awesome. It was
I
just
don't get why they keep like revamping it, but I really like the vibe of the first season.
my
especially
parents
the
loved
host.
watching
I feel like they're
Survivor,
doing
and that's what it
revamp
felt
it.
like to me, watching a kid version of Survivor.
My problem with the with Total Drama, like the series, the first season was great. The reason why all the other seasons sucked is they kept bringing back the same characters, not really bringing it into like the whole reality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They didn't bring the whole reality TV show feel to it.
Like
Also,
you can
they
only
changed the
take so
host.
much Gwen and the other guy,
What was her
the
name?
other
Duncan.
Duncan.
Duncan,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You can only take so much Gwen and Duncan drama,
Yeah.
or dumb blonde Stacy.
Yeah.
Wait, that was her name, right? Stacy.
So
I think
Or was it
Stephanie.
I think it was
Brittany.
Stephanie.
Brittany,
maybe?
Stephanie, who
Stephanie.
cares?
All I remember was my boy Owen, and the rest of the
Owen.
Owen was the realest one.
No,
That
oh.
and Chef.
Yeah,
Chef
and
was the
Owen.
realest
No,
one.
Chef and Owen should have their own show together.
I think they did.
No,
Was,
that was
uh,
It
Total
was a
Drama
cooking
Rama.
show.
You know
or
what show
something.
that really
The
pushed?
host was Chris or something, right?
Yeah.
What was his name? I love Chris.
You know what's the show that
I
really
think that was a
pushed?
short.
That pushed the note for me though, low key. Brandy and Mr. Whiskers.
Oh yeah, I remember
love
that.
Brandy and Mr.
I watched
Disney
all
show.
the episodes
I remember
before I
remember
lost
that name.
cable.
Oh my fuck! Oh
Yes!
my god!
Yes!
Holy fuck!
Yes!
I remember seeing that when I was really young. Like I was super young when I saw it, and I remember just being like, "This is fucking stupid." Like it's.
But low key, did you know that Mr. Whiskers was low key the biggest stoner you ever saw? Because he actually on every show, his eyes were red, and he always did some
Blood red.
does
He's
some-
always doing some stoner shit.
Yeah.
I would have to go back and rewatch
Well,
it,
this is
'cause
an
I
hour
literally
long. I
not
have a lot of
seen-
editing to do.
I have not seen that since I was a kid. Like
You
not
can't
even-
find
not
it.
even
You
clips,
can't
yeah.
find it anywhere anymore. Type deal.
That
Like-
show also had a lot of weird like visual stuff going on.
Yep.
Well, there was like an episode where somebody's like butt got fatter or something. I can't remember.
It
Mhm.
was Whiskers or maybe?
Whiskers.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I was like, any cartoon where they make a character's butt bigger, I'm like, hey man, this is for kids. Like, dude.
I mean, I can't.
Hey,
I
not
can't.
gonna lie, I guess it's because I grew up with brothers, you know, and a bunch of boys, you know, as their friends. They brought over all the little guy friends, and we would all watch Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. And that particular episode where Mr. Whiskers' butt got really big because he got a rash or something on it from sitting in something, that was like the funniest episode ever. We're all just sitting there rolling, laughing, like, look at his big butt, look at it jiggle! Like, it was just the funniest thing.
I didn't laugh.
They look like a bad
I
movie.
just felt uncomfortable. I was like, I think
Well,
that
here's the thing.
the thing that broke me was fucking Jimmy Neutron when Carl's butt got big. They made him get pregnant in his butt, and I was like, dude, this is a fucking kid show. Okay?
Wait, what? Which
I
episode
remember
was
that
that?
one.
He got impregnated by an alien because an alien touched him, and then he literally like
Planet Sheen.
he literally shits out a fucking alien baby.
Planet
That's how the
Sheen.
episode ends. He shits it out, and then it's like it goes away, and Carl's like, "Bye, I'll love you forever," or whatever. And it was just like,
Oh, yeah.
what the
Wait!
fuck?
I remember that now. Yeah, that was like, what?
I got
I saw that on
desensitized from all the
Netflix.
butt thing because of one show, Cow and Chicken.
Oh, cow and
Because
chicken.
you know why? The
devil's
ham.
butt.
No,
His
not
butt is out like
Not
the
even
whole
the devil's
episode.
butt. They had him eat ass. The ham, every single time it was literally was ass on a plate, and they would eat it. Literally. That's
I guess my little brain didn't put that two and two
Never
together. I
thought
was
it.
always so focused on
go
the
go
devil-
on
the
go,
big red
go
guy's
on the,
butt.
Go on the net.
because he was all about his butt.
go ahead and go on the net so you can see what we're talking about. What I'm talking about here, because when you see this, you're gonna be like, really? Yes, cow and chicken ham.
Fake butts are just weird. In terms of what you can do with them, in a cartoon for kids. Because I just don't really feel like kids laugh at fart humor, right? But fart humor is different from butt humor. Because butt humor has a more air of well, there's nothing actually happening here. It's just
images,
right? It's
it should be.
But yeah, the Carl episode, dude, they had his butt crack out the whole episode, and I was just like, this is fucking weird.
Which one?
Yeah, but
Did you type in ham?
No, human.
Oh, it changed it.
Yeah, I see that.
I didn't catch that. There we go.
Why
is there an eyeball in that ham?
No, that's isn't that a
That's a roast.
That's a bone. It's what are they called? Circle bones.
Mm-hmm.
There's a name for that.
The eye or the round or whatever.
The round. Yeah, I think it's the round.
No, there was a scene though where I think it was because the devil cooked up legit ass, and they're all eating ass.
Yeah.
I
The
remember that
devil
so
guy
vivid.
came
I remember that so
over to
vividly.
make dinner, and he made
I remember what you're
butts.
talking about. I've seen this, but just not since I was a kid. I didn't really watch a lot of Cow and Chicken. I watched a lot more of, I think it was Rocko's Modern Life. I'm pretty sure that was the same studio.
Rocco's.
No,
I remember that.
Nickelodeon. Cow and Chicken was on Cartoon Network because Rise of Cow and Chicken was on.
I'm saying the animation studio.
Was it?
Yeah, I think the team maybe. I mean, I might be wrong about that, but I think that it was the
That would
same
be
people who
interesting.
worked on Cow and Chicken worked on Rocko's Modern Life.
Remember
Maybe.
Doug back in the day?
That would be interesting because then it's the same studio working for two rival corporations.
Right. I mean, that's happened before. That's kind of common in the industry. If you're a really good artist or whatever, you might just get thrown around.
Did anybody watch the Rocco's Modern Life movie?
I did.
It was.
I liked Rocco's Modern Life.
I think it was
And Cat Dog.
Cat Dog was my jam.
That looks like.
I think it came out back in 2019. That's when the movie came out.
Anybody remember the Rugrats movies? I think everybody does at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speaking of traumatizing shit as a kid, do you remember the episode of Cat Dog where I think it was Dog was going through Cat and coming out of his mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
He was
God, I
literally-
remember
literally
that.
Yeah.
turning inside out.
That
Yeah,
was
they
gross.
turned themselves inside out. It was gross.
It
That
was.
shit was disgusting. That was you're literally watching a fucking prolapse, basically. It's prolapse for kids,
Woo!
right? Woo!
This is what happens when you push too hard, kids.
Oh God, look at this one.
Oh yeah, that was when they didn't have money and they were starving. I remember that episode.
That episode was freaky.
It taught
Also,
you
it's
about,
freaky.
always having a job or having money to pay rent and food or something.
I remember that there was a really funny video I saw back when I was younger. There was a guy ranting about Cat Dog, and he was like, "This is the worst show ever made. You want to know why?
Oh.
Because it asks too many questions. A curious kid is not going to enjoy Cat Dog because he's going to watch it and he's going to say, who shits? Where does it come out?
Where's it go?
Where's it go? Where's it go?
Well, simple. They actually showed it where he eats and they eat it and cat spits out a cat ball, a
Yeah.
hairball.
I mean, it's that to a kid. A kid has a really vivid imagination. I had a really vivid imagination as a kid, so I didn't really like Cat Dog because I was thinking to myself, that would be hell. If you had to be somebody else's asshole, basically. That's awful. And then it would create power dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
And you think
who's gonna get to eat?
But we all know who was really the greatest Nickelodeon show, Rocket Power.
Oh,
Rocket
yeah.
Power was the best.
What was that trick that I think it was his name was Rocky was trying to do or something? Or what was his name?
The triple decker.
Yeah, triple decker.
Summer flipple
I remember the
it
show.
was like
I
a
had
triple decker
pajamas
front flip or
stuff.
something like that.
Yeah, that is something that
I had
people
the
have done
cat.
nowadays.
I had a couple of accessories.
It's kind of funny looking back on Rocket Power because skateboarding has evolved a lot in terms of what people are capable of.
Rocket Power is what got my brothers and I into skating in general. It's what got them into skateboarding, and it's what got me into rollerblades because I wanted to be like Reggie. She was the one that always wore the rollerblades.
Yeah, blading's sick. I mean, I do some aggressive at night sometimes.
I used to be real good.
And yeah, Disney's Johnny Tsunami.
Johnny Tsunami. But the original one, right?
I mean, I know of
So
it.
yeah, about to say.
Johnny
So the
Tsunami?
third movie wasn't really until they indulged skateboarding, but the first movie he went from the surfer to snowboarding.
Yeah.
Then it went from snowboarding to skateboarding to
That's
the
part two,
to the
yeah.
dirt riding shit where he it's like dirt riding but he's on a surfboard type, not surfboard but wait, what's a fucking board that's like not big as a damn skateboard but it's longer.
It's a longboard. It's like a longboard.
Just like an all-terrain skateboard.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do remember that.
I don't know. Did they call it like a mountain board or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's like, or some people will say like a dirt board or whatever. I mean, a regular skateboard can't go on fucking dirt.
No, hell no.
When it comes to skateboarding and stuff, all I have to say is Tony Hawk games, and I was super awesome at it. Otherwise, I know nothing. Unless we talk about Tech Decks, I had a ton of those.
I love the Tony Hawk games. I cannot stand Tony Hawk.
Anybody know how to spell tsunami?
TSUNA.
Fucking you make Twist 500.
Did you know fucking Tony Hawk is like posting AI stuff now, dude? Oh my god, I'm just like
CSUMI?
better than this.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm ESPN bot.
NAMI.
Disney X Games. Seriously, that's all you ever see him nowadays during the X Games.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't like. I know he still skates, and he's actually still good. I mean, he still has skill. It's more just like he's not breaking ground. You know, it's not. I mean, I don't expect somebody who's almost 60 to be breaking new ground in skateboarding.
If you do a
But the thing
500,
is, like-
if you do your iconic trick and do it at 60 years old, okay, I give you props.
He did do one at like 49. He did a 900 at like 49. That was like
Johnny
something.
Kapahala.
Nothing to his
board.
injuries.
That's what it was
Like, I
called.
can understand if he can't do the injuries and everything. But the thing is, somebody explained it like the main thing that made Tony Hawk famous was the 900. That was just it was just him hitting the 900, and it was like the first time we'd ever seen that. It was fucking mind blowing. People who don't even skate have seen that clip. You know, it's just a very iconic clip. But the thing is, nowadays, like kids in fucking Japan can do 900s. You know, like 3 in a row because like now skateboarding has evolved. You know, our understanding of what we're capable of doing has changed.
And
So
I would
this guy who did a 900 fucking 40 years ago is now still relevant for doing the 900, and it's like I get it's mainly due to his cultural recognition. Like everybody knows Tony Hawk, you know.
like
the
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, the games and
Yeah.
stuff. So like, I get why people like him, but it's just like as far as him as a person, I don't like what he represents because it's literally just like he will do anything for money. He does not care. He will literally just do anything for money.
Oh yeah, skaters, and
no
even as a
different.
pro skater, you can only
Make
ride a
so
board
much
for so
skating.
long and make so much money. Like I bet most of his money came from doing the
And brand
MTV
deals.
Mm-hmm.
brands or
Six
doing
Flags.
the no, not Six Flags, the video games.
Oh, the
As
video
many
games,
video
that's right.
games, pro skater video games that he came out
And his
with.
board,
I'm sure that
fucking the
and
hawk,
and the boards,
you know,
the Baker
his hawk
boards.
emblem on his
Yeah.
skateboards. But
Well, it's like the thing.
Was
with
it
the
Tony
games
Hawk
was
that made the Baker boards famous?
No, that was Andrew Reynolds. That's his brand, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. Tony Hawk owns Birdhouse.
Birdhouse.
Mhm.
That's correct.
So fucking the thing with the Tony Hawk games was like it was the first like skateboarding video game. You know, so for skateboarding it was like I mean I'm not gonna say the first game period because like there was like NES games of skateboards, but the thing was Tony Hawk included actual skate culture into the games. Like you could watch the old video parts and stuff. You could watch like the Baker parts and everything in those games that had like actual board brands and stuff that were like relevant at the time.
and
They had actual pro skaters that were
yeah,
relevant at the
and they'll
time.
show because that's how skaters got known because skaters would have to show their skill and like do a little montage of their skateboarding.
Right,
yeah,
right.
I remember that. It was in the game too. It was unlockables.
Because most people didn't know that Bam Margera was a skateboarder too.
I knew
Yeah.
that, but that's because I used to have the biggest crush on Bam Margera, and now looking at him is like, oh my god, what the hell happened to you? Well, I know what happened to you. Your best friend Ryan Dunn died. That's what happened to you.
Well, he also did a lot of shenanigans anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, but he was not doing like such hardcore stuff, or well, he was doing the hardcore stuff, but he wasn't doing it that hard until after Ryan died. Because like him and Ryan Dunn were like brothers. Like, you could not separate the two of them, and after he died, bam, just fell apart.
My
Like
favorite
I did with
character
my brother.
In the Tony Hawk games was Chad Muska.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Chad Muska, the fucking Ghetto Blaster beatbox.
Yep.
Dude, Chad Muska is the fucking shit. But what was the time? I was just gonna say, like, since it was the first game at the time that like actually featured that culture, I feel like that's why people clung to it so hard. Like, oh wow, like now we know who Tony Hawk is and everything. Whereas with Skate, like Skate still included a lot of that stuff, but I feel like in terms of the culture side of it, like it was kind of just a skateboarding game. It didn't really represent the culture at the time. It was kind of just names and faces, and like I don't know, man. I prefer Tony Hawk, but I still think Skate's cool. I just don't like what Skate has become. Have you guys seen the new Skate game? It looks so fucking ass. I'm so upset, dude. They took Skate, they took it out back and fucking shot it, dude. Like they don't give a fuck about this.
Yep, shot it. Here comes Tony Hawk. But like, here, we're replacement. Here's 3 and 4. We give you 1 and 2. Here's 3 and 4 now, y'all. And we're over here screaming like, give us Underground.
Well, they gave us an actual fucking game with 3 and 4 and like with an actual team, whereas EA owns Skate. And EA is like notoriously one of the worst video game companies, both to work for and just period. They're very money driven. They own like a lot of sports franchise games, so
Star Wars.
the new
that's right
They
there.
own Harry Potter.
the new Skate
Well-
game is like a clothes buying simulator. It's literally just microtransactions and stuff. It's like they don't give a fuck about the actual skate culture. What they care about is,
Money.
oh, you like Supreme, right? Oh, you can wear Supreme in this game if you pay like $2.
Supreme
you get the
is-
shirt.
Oh yeah, they go. Yeah.
I'm
But
sorry,
also EA is also, you know, when they take criticism hard enough, they will change their ways. For example, Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 got fucking plagued with microtransactions. Then 4 years later, EA's like, all right, you know what?
But
Fuck
the thing is, they haven't responded to any of the criticism with the new Skate, and that's what concerns me. And another thing is like they're not really gonna care if it doesn't do well because
now I got
what's
the license
bigger,
going.
Star Wars or Skate, and not skateboarding, but just Skate. Like
Star Wars.
I know tons of actual like core skaters who fucking hate Skate. They think it's a terrible game. Like they hate how it plays, and it's mainly just like I don't know. Like it could just be they don't like how it feels. They don't like how it represents the culture or whatever. But for me, like I hate Skate, especially the new one, just because it definitely feels like they're taking what people liked about the old game and they're trying to kind of like make you buy it so that you can get that, but they're not going to polish anything. Like if they actually cared about the fan base, if they cared about making a good game, they would polish it. They would add more content. They would add like pro skaters. They would make it easier to like unlock content and not make you fucking pay for it. And it's also like there's going to be no single player, right? That was a big part of Skate, was like becoming a sponsored skater and everything, getting your own clips and getting pictures. Now it's just going to be like this online only thing where it's just multiplayer and it's just like, oh, people can pay to buy this spot and like put props in. And I'm like, so you're telling me if I'm a free player that's not spending money, I could be skating a spot and somebody could come along and just start putting shit in the way?
Yes.
Like that's what they're telling me.
Yes.
That's a terrible fucking design for a game.
I
don't
agree.
like Skate had
That just means it's
online,
more
but it
money
was
driven.
optional and it was with friends. This is just anybody. It's a fucking free for all.
It's community. The skateboarding video game community that people can customize their own abilities with. That's what they're
The
going
guys
with their
is
counter
supposed to be
argument is and what
community.
they're gonna say.
Well, here's the thing: is
But-
like nowadays a lot of games are kind of taking this like Fortnite effect, where they're thinking, okay, we got to make it multiplayer. We got to have a bunch of people in there at the same time, and it's got to be free. And it's got to have microtransactions, so we can get kids in here and they can run around and goof around, and like they added a bunch of like ragdoll stuff you can do in the new Skate, where you can like do little cannonballs and all that shit, just whatever, and you can like climb ladders and all that. So to me, it feels like they're focusing more on making like a fucking like Fall Guys ripoff. Like, oh, it's just you get to run around and goof around with your friends. It's like that's not really Skate though. Like that's not what the games are about. Like it's just it seems like Predatory, like their whole market is probably towards kids and not actual core skaters. Like they just want kids to download the game and have a bunch of people play it
Because
so that they can
kids
spend their
these
parents'
days,
money
yeah.
on fake clothes.
Because parents these days don't care. Whatever makes the kid happy with the electronic babysitter. And so you're right, it's predatory. They're preying on the people that easily will give up, their supervision for the electronic babysitter.
And who do you think cares the most about like digital fashion. Grown adults don't give a fuck.
No,
Like,
we don't
kids
care.
Kids are like, I want to have my new Fortnite skin. I want to look really cool. So they're gonna be like, I want to.
I need to look like Deadpool.
I need to have the new expensive fucking outfit that makes me look like Ryan Sheckler or whatever. It's like, you know what I mean? To me, it's just super fucking predatory. Like it doesn't come across as a game that they're making out
It's
of
not
passion or
genuine.
love. It's literally just money driven. That's all it is.
I once met a kid, and this kid was like, this guy. It was actually a guy. His son spent like $500 on Power Ranger drops on that new Power Ranger game. If you remember.
Power Grid.
Yeah, Power Grid.
The fucking Mortal Kombat style Power Rangers game.
Yeah, that one on the mobile app.
Oh, on the mobile app.
Yeah.
You don't even get.
Yep, he spent $500 on microtransactions, and the kid nearly got him and his father homeless
Over the game.
over the game. But hey, he was a top-ranking player at that point.
I hate microtransactions, dude. I hate video games.
Most games
Nowadays.
these days are pay to play.
Yeah.
Like you want to win, you better pay.
That's why
It's pay to win, not even pay to play. It's pay to win.
Play indie games.
Play indie games.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, indie games are where it's at.
Yep, until it
Because,
comes
like,
Hogwarts
independent
Legacy or God of
developers-
War. Then I'm like, fuck them.
Yeah,
Developers
no.
care a little more about engaging the person into the game and
Like,
making sure that the player has fun rather than the money. And that's the problem with the big corporations. They're not worried about immersing the player in the game because we've all kind of already been psyoped into,
Everyone's gonna play
video
Death Stranding
games.
2.
It doesn't matter what it is. They just suck you in because it's something to distract you from your everyday worries or problems. Like, Fortnite, it's a pay-to-win kind of thing in a way.
No.
Or pay-to-play, whatever.
It's not pay to
It's-
play. It's not
it's
necessarily.
It's free, but it's
all,
not.
It's all optional, but it's incentivized. It's
Yes.
incentivized, like, you should buy things.
It's
You
not...
should do things.
No.
It's not really concerned around the player having a good time. It's more concerned around, you're going to have a good time, but we want your money.
But see, I'm real ludicrous. I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna have my money. I'm actually gonna keep playing grinding out this game until I get free shit out of it.
Where are you going, Mr. Host?
Mr. Host, I, my friend, have to go get a drink. I am thirsty. Are you thirsty, Mrs. Co-host? Oh, you got your own cups.
Editor thirsty.
See? You got two people on the part that didn't
You
come
know what?
prepared.
We're going to take a quick break.
All right.
A quick break? Oh, man, we're just heating up.
I know, but let's put a
Let
pause
us
on
cook.
it for right now. And
We already
we'll
had
get
two
back to
people
it.
walk out. What the heck? God.
I know, but I want you to be part of the conversation.
I want my vape.
Pause it, Frankie.
Just stop it, I guess. Stop recording.
There's a pause button right beside the stop recording button.
Let's go.
Dudes fighting.
And we're
You
back!
got, alright, so I'm going to set up a scenario for you guys. You got two dudes fighting. One dude is just coming like full force, full aggression, full swings. And the other dude is just like super defensive, super calm, super focused, just like blocking everything, right? And the mindset for me, like fighting games taught me this. I actually used to like host fighting game tournaments. I used to go to them, compete in them and everything. I took like Street Fighter really seriously. I took Smash Bros really seriously, like Mortal Kombat, that stuff. And you have to learn that like one, you're going to lose. Like there's going to be points where you're going to lose at this game. You have to accept mentally, like, if I'm being outplayed, this person's going to beat me, and I can't just, like, me being angry isn't going to change that. Me being mad is not going to change the outcome of what's happening here. And another thing, too, is, like, just that Zen state. Like, if you are calm, you're focused. If you're mad, you're unfocused. And you're gonna do a lot more, like, explosive types of plays and stuff. So, like, sometimes there's some players like in fighting games where when they get mad, that's in they're in like Zen state, like I'm a fucking berserker. I'm gonna fucking like play really
like the
aggressive
mushroom
now.
thing we were talking about
Right.
earlier.
And it's like, but then there's the other guy on the opposite end who's just like, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that you're mad, take advantage of the fact that your reactions are poor right now. You're not thinking ahead. You're not like understanding the matchup or whatever. You're literally just playing with full aggression. So basically, I'm going to make you hang yourself, right? Like, I'm going to punish you for doing something that was, like, unsafe, or I'm going to do this or that. And it helped me understand that, like, generally the top competitors in these types of things are the people who are the most calm about it and understand and know how to take a loss, because to them, this is like a hobby. For me, look at, like, skateboarding, right? if I went in full aggression, that means that I'm not focusing on the board. You know, if I'm not like taking the mental energy to be like, hey man, slow it down a little bit and just focus on what's happening, that means that I'm probably way more likely to fall. But you have to skate with some aggression and passion, and like you can't just like half-ass it, because if you half-ass it, you're also gonna fall off. So it's like a very fine balance you got to learn of like caring enough to put the effort in, but not caring so much that effort then comes and bites you back in the ass.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. But what gets me about Brawlhalla, because one of those free-to-play games, you can tell when someone's cheating. If I'm connecting you in all my accounts, and then all of a sudden you're phasing out, and then I'm like on the other side of the map, and you're right here, and next thing you know you're comboing me up, that's what pisses me off.
Yeah. Well, I also, like, I hate online games like that, like, where you're fighting, because there's the
That slack
lag.
switch. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like back in, I think it was Street Fighter 4. Was it Street Fighter 4? Maybe it's Street Fighter 5. One of them had, like, really bad netcode, and characters would just be teleporting, and I was just like, I can't react to anything. Like, this is just not fun. I don't know how to, like...
engage.
Yeah, I don't know how to engage if, like, I can't see the character's move coming out, because that's kind of a key part of, like, whiff punishing, right? If a character doesn't move out here and they whiff it, you can punish them with your move.
Yeah.
Because they're in, like, in lag, they're still doing whatever. And if it's just like, boop, and then they teleport into place and then their animation ends, it's like, I can't visually react to that. That was like, That was like 3 frames of one move, and then they're back over here. So, yeah, and I think that, like, to me, I would rather, like, nowadays just sit down and, like, play a game on the couch with somebody. Online games are okay, but not competitive ones. I would rather just play, like Minecraft online, you know? Like, play with other people, because to me, like, yeah, there might be a little bit of lag here and there, but, like, we're not competing, you know? We're not, like... It's not like
Borderlands where I kill somebody and you try to steal my gun type deal.
Yeah, well, it's... I mean, to be fair, you can do that in Minecraft. You can do other people's shit, but...
Yes,
it's
you
like,
can.
It's like,
my
to
brother
me,
used to make me upset with
if
that.
I lag in Minecraft, that's not going to affect the whole experience. If I lag in a fighting game, that's going to determine, like, the outcome of the match.
Win or lose.
Yeah.
I feel the same way when it came to Ultimate Warfare vs. Capcom.
Oh, dude, that game is fucking insane. That game is, like, one of the most fast-paced fighting games out there.
Yeah,
so
I played
at once.
online for like a couple weeks. And I was like, this is insane. They're chaining attacks that I've never seen before in any Marvel game.
That's how it goes.
They had me on somebody had me on a chain that got me to above the map.
Yeah,
and then I just fell down and then splat. I was out for the count.
You can do infinites in that game. You can, if you, like, certain characters can literally get you into a combo in that game and just fucking kill you, like, to death. Like, where you can't.
I didn't even know about that because
anything,
I had the game for years. So it's like, no, I'm done.
Marvel vs. Capcom has a lot of cheese, but that game has a lot going on. Like, there's literally, it's 3 versus 3. You can call assists in that game, and, like, a lot of the moves are really fast, so they come out really quick. And most characters have, like,
it was too much.
Have like fucking like 30 different moves, right? So it's like you're literally just seeing, and it's like, to a beginner, if they're looking at that, it's just like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I can't even decipher what's happening on
I can't even look
I
at this
feel the
guy's
same-
button mash and trying to figure out how the hell he even do that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like the PlayStation 2 games, and then from the fighting games, and then from the PlayStation 3 and to 5, it's completely different now.
I mean,
I'm used to play Soul Calibur PlayStation 2,
And
Marvel
3.
vs. Capcom, on Dreamcast, that type of stuff.
I would say games have, like, definitely sped up a little, but there's also still, like, some slower fighting games. Like, for me, I think that Tekken is kind of one of the slower ones.
Yeah, I have Tekken Tag Team Match.
Tekken is, like, a lot more.
That's a good one.
Tekken's like sort of like back and forth. You know,
Yeah.
like, okay, we're spacing stuff out. We're treating it kind of like an actual, like, in-ring match where people would kind of go back and forth. Whereas, like, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Marvel vs. Capcom, that stuff, it's super fast-paced, so it's just like things happen a lot more. What's like the neutral is not based around trading blows. The neutral is based around who gets the first hit and starts combos.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you get the first hit in neutral, that means that probably like half of your health bar is gone on that character. In Tekken, it's a lot more like, oh, I got a hit on you, now I took a little bit of your life away, but now you're going to kind of press the attack. And then you obviously, in any fighting games, you're going to press the advantage. You know, like, if you knock someone down or something, you're going to get in their face, things like that. Or if you're a zoning character, you're going to back up. So Yeah, I mean, I think Tekken is a super fun game to watch from a spectator standpoint.
It
It's got a
is.
lot going on, like in the game. Like each character in Tekken has like 80 fucking moves, but they're like really specific. Like this is if you knock them down, you could do this.
Situational
but
moves.
Yeah, but you can only do that if they're not blocking. If they're blocking, that move won't come out. That type of deal. So
Yeah, like Soul Calibur 4, it's become a little bit more like Tekken as well. It's like, because you see like them swap characters back and forth in the games. If you ever noticed
that's
that.
just Tekken Tag. I mean, normal Tekken doesn't have swapping.
No, I mean like not like swapping characters, like swapping characters in different games. Like you'll see like characters in Tekken and Soul Calibur, like what you know that
Yoshimitsu.
Yeah, Yoshimitsu. He's in Soul Calibur.
Well, that's actually Yoshimitsu.
Oh, that's true.
Yoshimitsu is like a Japanese legend, so technically that could just be any Yoshimitsu. Yeah, like it's that Yoshimitsu is not a Tekken exclusive character. That's just a Japanese like folklore character.
Okay, that's actually really fun. That's a fun fact that I did not know about.
That's pretty cool. I learned something new today.
Yeah.
Actually, I learned a lot of things sitting here today with Seth. This has been nice.
I have so much random information packed in here that it's like I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but maybe I can pass it on to somebody.
That's probably why I always came over to the skate shop, because like you just had some really fun facts.
Yeah. Do you want to know? Do you want to know the difference between 97A durometer and 99A durometer? Don't worry, I know it's only a 2-thing difference, but oh boy, I could talk to you about it for 30 fucking minutes. That's
well,
like,
what is the difference?
yeah, like a lot of people. That's the big thing with skateboarding is a lot of people don't know about like the little nuances of things. Like some people would ask like, oh, what shape board should I get? What width and this and that, and like what concave and what wheelbase and all that. And it's like, well, the thing is, I can't tell you what to pick because that's like asking me like, what car should I buy? It's like, well, what do you want, right? But I can tell you like what those things do, what it means. Like, you're not going to be able to power slide on a wheel that's say like 70A durometer, but you are going to be able to power slide on a wheel that's like 100A durometer. So I mean, some people wouldn't know that. Nothing is like bushing strength, you know, how hard the bushings are. The durometer on those, like that's going to change how your trucks turn, how it feels. Like I've had a lot of people give me complaints about skateboarding that are very like easy things to fix. Like, oh, I want a skateboard, but I don't like how my trucks are so wobbly. I'm like, literally just change your bushings. Like that's the reason why we make different types of bushings. Like that's for people like you who want a stiffer truck.
I like bushings that's already been broken down. This is why I usually pick up the hand-me-down boards and like hand-me-down parts. Because it's already broken into.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the company. Like some bushings I would say like blow out a lot faster. I think it was like Ace. Like I like Ace trucks a lot, but I don't like their bushings. But I mean, you can always replace them.
My brother is the same way. I understood most of what you said there only because of my brother Greg, who was like super into skateboarding and all that, and he would take me to like a couple of the skate shops and be like, I'm on this, and I'd be like, what's all this? And then the person behind the desk is like, oh, and spend like an hour in the shop just listening to the dude like explain everything.
Yeah.
And it's pretty hard when somebody asks you like, what kind of board do you want? Because all those little things matter. Because my brother's got different boards that are different sizes, and his ex-girlfriend Lily had to try like 2 or 3 different boards or 4 different boards even just to try to see which, you know, the width and the concave and all that, how it reacted with her feet and how well she felt comfortable with it, whether you had tighter trucks or looser trucks or this or that. And I'm like, oh my lord.
My pickiest thing is the wheels and the bearings. Those are my picky. Those are the ones I'm most picky with.
I think that
because I like to cruise around a lot, and if I'm putting too much work into how much energy I'm pumping into the ground just to get up a hill, that's a problem for me. Like the wheels and bearings I have right now, I don't like.
I would say that like your wheels definitely determine like a big part of your board feel, like how the whole complete feels. Like to me, I don't really care as much about concave because I've skated so many different concave boards that like I do have a preference. But let's say like I wanted a low concave board and all the shop had was steep, right? If all they have is steep, I'm still just gonna get a steep one. Be like, fuck it, I don't care. Like this is something I can get accustomed to. I don't really care. But with wheels, I'm a lot more picky. Like if you don't got the type of wheels that I like, mainly like a durometer and size thing. Size is the most important thing for me, like the diameter of the wheel. If you don't got that diameter, I really don't want to just settle on something because that's gonna totally change how the board feels. Like.
Moves in general.
Yeah. Like if I skate a wooden park, I would want like a softer wheel so that I can grip onto the ramps better. But if all your shop has is wheels that are like 100 plus durometer, the second I go to that ramp, I'm going to be sliding around. You know, that's going to be something that I'm going to have to adjust for, and it's going to affect my confidence a lot. That's the main thing. Like, it's really good. Like, I wouldn't say you don't got to stick to a brand, but you got to know like your size and durometer. Like, that's the main thing.
Which I still
Once you
haven't
find
figured
something
out.
like-
If I was at a skate park, I don't go to skate parks very often. I think I only went like maybe twice in my life.
Dude, that's how I improve a lot because it's the optimal environment. I mean, everything's smooth. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you don't have to worry about like, oh, am I gonna hit bumps and everything. It's like, oh, this is like flat ground.
Yeah.
Am I gonna hit this crack in the road?
Yeah, like to me, I do a lot of street skating, so I've built in like the warning system of that type of thing. But I would rather just go to a skate park because it's like I can practice there in an optimal environment where my confidence is gonna get up. Like, there's not a lot of ramps in the street in day-to-day life. A
No,
ramp
there
that's
isn't.
this steep, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like, it's gonna get me used to skating at a higher speed in an optimal environment to where once I go on the road and I start going faster, I'm not gonna have that fear like, whoa, I'm going fast. It's gonna be like, oh, I just got back from the park. I just went down a fucking ramp. Like, this is nothing, you know. And a big thing is just comfort too. Like, you need to be confident to be comfortable on your board because, like, if you go into anything, it looks at the concept of faith. Like, let's say you're gonna ollie up a curb. Do you have faith that you're gonna get up the curb? Yeah. Well, then
There's
you're gonna get up
faith in
it.
yourself and faith in your board.
If you have no faith that you're gonna get up the curb, you're not gonna get up the fucking curb. It's
Nope.
not just like, oh, I got lucky this time. It's like, no, you mentally did not like put yourself in the position of getting up there. You mentally put yourself in the position of
Barely
taking the
getting
board
over there.
away or falling off or getting hung up or whatever. You know, like, you have to mentally tell yourself, like, this is something I can do. And that just comes with time. Like, nobody ever picks up a skateboard and is just instantly like, oh, I'm just a fucking ripper, because you need to get comfortable. It's kind of like you're not going to sit down in your first driver's ed lesson and start going 90 miles an hour, right? Because you don't know how to drive a fucking car. Skateboarding's the same way.
Oh, you forgot the box was there?
I'm thinking I'm at the wall.
You're not at the wall. He was at the box.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, I mean, I definitely have built a preference over time, just like in terms of what I like. I really like, I like probably like maybe 100 durometer, 99 around there, and then I like 56 millimeter. That's like, the
Superb.
big thing is, I used to want smaller wheels because in my head I was like, if I'm going slower, it's less scary. But the thing is, you're gonna get caught on cracks and shit a lot more.
Yeah,
'cause you're
and I
going
hate
slower.
that. It happens
You got-
every day.
If you got bigger wheels, you can just glide over
Skateboarding.
everything. Like, yeah, it's faster, but that's what you want. Like, you want to go faster. It makes it easier.
And it makes it a lot more scary. Like, it's really funny that
That
we're
makes it
talking about
more stable.
skateboards and all that. And on Easter, Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day that my mom brought up, like, one of the memories from us going up to New York or going over to Hillsboro. And my brothers went down these really big hills on their longboards and, like, how scary it was. And that's when the boys started doing their research about wheels and whatnot, because they were like, how do I go slower down these big ass hills?
Power slide, man.
That's like, the wheels all matter. It's very interesting how something like that, something that small, can matter that big.
Yeah, well, I can't skate soft wheels because I can't power slide on them, and that's literally how you slow yourself down. If I'm going down a hill, I want to power slide so I can lose speed. If you're on soft wheels, you got to carve it out, and generally, softer wheels are bigger, so literally you're going to have more speed and you can't power slide. So it's like, that's the type of wheel I would not want to go downhill on. I would want to go downhill on, like, 56 millimeter, super hard durometer. I can just, and like, that's that.
Easy to stop.
Yeah, it's just,
And like, what kills me
Gives
is
you
the
more
price
options.
of wheels nowadays.
No, on their longboards, their wheels are like this freaking big around.
that. Dude, yeah, longboards have some fat ass wheels.
I remember my first longboard. I just randomly found it on the side of the road. That's where I found all my skateboards, just laying there on the side of the road after a rainy day,
Where?
around my building, or at the park, or just like in a bush, in weird places around
And
town.
what color were these boards?
One was a blue one from my building. The other one was a chipped board, extremely shaven down, razor tail, and everything. I think I showed it to you. Called Splinter.
Yeah, I mean, it probably. I might.
Wow, one of
remember
those
seeing
Borgia
it.
brothers.
I remember
The
that one
light-
time he came with
the
like
light
a
blue one.
Came in like a Brian Anderson board.
You
or
ever come
something.
across a
Like blue
black one with Rasta wheels? That's one that Adam lost. That he got for his birthday.
Black one with Rasta wheels.
Black penny board with Rasta wheels.
Never seen it.
Custom made.
Shit.
Black penny board, like, dude, I respect the fuck out of anybody who can ride a penny board because, dude, I'm size 13. My foot is the size of a fucking penny board. like I can't stand on that shit, man.
And just
Bobby's
think,
foot was
just
a
think
size
Braxton
12
rode
and he
on a
still
penny
got
board
on his
from
penny
Burlington
board.
to here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
They're fun. Don't get me wrong. It's just
Not the ideal thing to go that far with, I would think.
My brother Craig has about the same size shoe as you, Seth, and he can still ride his penny boards, and I'm like, bro, you don't need to be doing that anymore. Like, that's dangerous.
get a bigger board, man. I don't know. They actually make bigger penny boards. They're called nickel boards. They're like cruisers.
No, that is not a penny board now.
No, that's what it's called.
I mean, it's made of the same material, like that, like super stiff, like plastic or whatever.
I don't understand how you can stay on that super stiff plastic.
It's the main thing that would irritate me is like pumping. Like I'm trying to carve. I feel like a board should be stiff but have like a little bit of give to it, and that's like maybe what concave is there. Whereas like the penny boards and the nickel boards always have like a weird slight bend in them, so it just that throws me off. Like it makes me feel like less stable, basically, even though it's supposed to absorb like your pumping better. But it just, it's just weird. It's kind of like being on a longboard, how a longboard kind of has like a certain bounce to it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like that's so you can carve, but to me, like I kind of don't like that. I would rather just be stiff. Like it's because in my head, I'm locked in.
You have more control in your hand.
Yeah, like I'm standing on a fucking stick basically. So
You're not on a spring. You don't feel like you're on a springboard.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, on the longboards, I feel like I can get a little bit more distance and cut travel time in half.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
Oh, yeah,
definitely
definitely.
I
like.
feel like that's the reason.
I definitely like longboards a lot better than skateboards, like themselves. Like, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's because it's more comfortable for my big feet, because I have big, wide feet.
I have very tiny
So I
wide
feel
feet,
more
so I have
comfortable
more
on
control
that.
over my boards.
And
I
I
think
think,
it's just a safety thing. Like a lot of people feel more comfortable with a larger surface to stand on. You don't have to worry as much as like where your foot's going. And it's just like, oh, I got this big wide thing. I can just, it doesn't matter if it's here. Doesn't matter if it's here. On skateboard, that shit matters. Like if your foot is like kind of off, like if you're trying to push and your foot's like this, or whatever,
You're gonna hit.
you fallen.
yeah, I mean it's way less stable, less surface to stand on. So
I've definitely fallen straight flat on my face trying
You know what
to
I
just
don't
put
like?
my foot
Rubber
back
grip
up after
tape.
trying to just start the damn thing and play, and my foot would always miss and hit the side, and the next thing I know, whoop, there you
Rubber
go.
grip tape.
how do I feel about it?
No, I don't like it. How do you feel about it?
I've never skated. I only use regular grip. So
I prefer regular grip. I have to find the time just to go to a skate shop, since No Way left the area. It's like I have nowhere to buy grip tape because I was gonna replace it, and then a couple of months later, he's just like out of business.
yeah, I mean, I felt pretty bad about that because like I know he wanted it to stick around. It's just he didn't have enough business.
Yeah.
Like, what really pissed me off was there was a lot of like, what we mainly wanted to market to was like parents, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we want to get kids into skating so that they can grow up and develop the culture here, right? Like that's
Yeah.
what's important to us. As the shop was closing down, we were selling boards like from the ceiling for like fucking dirt cheap, basically, like just a few bucks because they were used boards that were on the ceiling, they were just old ones. And we also had a big discount going on store wide. Trucks had a big discount and wheels and all that. And like we had so much business, and all these people were like, "Oh, it's so sad, that your shop is closing down. Like it's so sad." And it's like,
Well, you didn't visit in the first
You
place.
didn't fucking come over here ever. You waited until we were going out of business
They
to
do
buy
that
your
in
kid a
this town.
skateboard. You fucking wait until we're going out of business to give us business, and then you're gonna go and say it's so sad. Fuck off. You didn't support us since day one. You didn't give a fuck about us. Now it's like, oh, everything's cheap, and I can get my kid a dirt cheap board that's probably
'Cause-
like super used and that they're not gonna really enjoy. Like it's way better to get a fresh board. Feels way better. You give your kids some shitty old used up board and like used trucks and stuff too, because we had a bucket of just leftover stuff that was like, hey, you guys can use this if you want. I mean, we kind of want to sell you like new trucks because right, like that's
It's
better for
better
our
to have.
business. But if you
Yeah.
just go and like get all the used stuff, one, it's gonna suck and it's probably not gonna be as interesting to you. If your first skateboard was an
Is crap.
actual complete versus a crap one, the crap one's gonna give you a way worse impression. You're gonna be like, this is skateboarding? I don't want to do this.
This is stupid.
Yeah, these bearings suck. These wheels suck. This is slow. Like, and it's all used up. If it's razor tailed or chipped or whatever, like, and that's the shit that pissed me off. Was like, that was where we got the most business. Was literally when we were closing, and it's like, way to fucking show up, guys. You know, I mean, it's better than no business, but still, it annoyed me the most how all those people were trying to be sympathetic, and I'm like, well, you could have came by the past fucking year and a half, and you never did. So,
Yeah. Because, like, you know, skateboarding to people that are not in it, but their kids are, it's just like, oh my god, it's this much money for a brand new one? Blah, blah, blah. I'll wait till the discounts. And unfortunately, the discounts don't really come around, except for, like, maybe once or twice a year, and the parents usually miss those sales because they're not in it like their kids are.
Yeah, they don't.
You know,
they don't pay
and-
attention.
And then
We
they
had
finally
Christmas
pay
deals.
attention when it's like, oh, everything is on sale because we're liquidating. And liquidate, I have come to realize as an adult, is a very magical word. Like, it doesn't matter what business it was, whether you had interest in it or not. Soon as they put up a liquidation sign, you immediately flock to it. I guess it's a psychological thing, but that's what I find, you know, the most. Whenever you say this was a liquidation store, people will give you more business. It's weird.
I mean, it logically makes sense. It just annoys me. You know, like it does make sense why you would show up when everything's discounted. Like, yeah, you're trying to save money, but
We were just
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean-
before.
I think a lot of parents don't really understand how much, like, if they're not into skating, if they didn't grow up skating, they don't have a passion for it. They don't understand like the difference in having like a quality board, even if it costs them $100+ that board is going to last you a really long time, and it's going to give you like a much better experience than going and buying some, you know, $25 board from Walmart. That $25 board has lower quality wood, worse grip tape, no concave or anything, so it's just a stick basically. The
It's
trucks,
a straight board.
It's just
Yeah,
basically a
the-
big popsicle.
the trucks are usually made of fucking plastic, and like the bushings are terrible. The fucking wheels, this blew my mind, man. I one time had a Walmart board just because somebody was trying to like be nice. They were like, "Oh, you like skateboarding? Here's a board," and I was like,
You gotta be kidding me.
"Thanks." It's like,
You could totally tell.
I appreciate the thought, right? I was like, "Oh, cool, you got me a board," but I was like, worst thing you could have got. I'm not gonna skate this shit, and I already had a board anyways. But I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna skate it a little bit to try to make it look like I'm using it for them. And I try to go down a hill, I try to power slide. My wheel,
Broke off.
it ripped open. It ripped in half, right? And the thing is, that's not supposed to happen because skateboard wheels are not hollow. You know,
No, they're
skateboard
not.
wheels are fucking completely filled. So that means that
My
they.
brother chucked one of them suckers at my head one time. I promise you, them things are not hollow.
Yeah,
I
the-
dropped one on my
the-
toe.
Because if that thing was
fucking-
hollow, that thing would have not hurt as much.
the bearings like came out, like they were like the whole. It's just crazy, man. I don't even know how to explain it. It was like, imagine a tire ripping open. That's what it looked like. I was just like, how the fuck are you selling a board like this? Like this?
And who?
Yeah, and who? Like that shit
Like,
is
who does
crazy.
this?
Like a dollar store board. That's what they call the dollar store boards.
For real, I've never seen that in my life. That is like the most crazy visual I've ever seen with like wheels and stuff. It's just it like peeling open like that. It was like almost comedic. I'm just
I
like,
can't
wow.
even imagine.
I was like, thank God I ate shit on that, because now I know not to ride this fucking thing. I can't because the wheels blown in half, but
Literally.
it helped me understand like what type of quality was there, and now I can share that story with consumers and say, hey, this is the reason why you avoid them, because if you try to do a power slide, your wheel will rip in half.
They're hollow.
They're hollow. Oh man, that's crazy.
The thought was there. The thought was there. Walmart just being Walmart.
It's always the thought that counts.
What thought? Oh, let's make money.
Or try to kill us?
Well, no, I meant more like your friend who was just trying to be, like, hey, buddy, look at what I got you,
Yeah.
man.
If
You like this, and so
if
this could be
you
something you
really,
want to
really
use.
wanted to, if you really wanted to, you could sue for selling you improper equipment for safety and says the safety has for other kids.
Actually, you'd have to sue the company that made the board, not Walmart that sold it,
That's
because
fine.
Walmart is a distributor type kind of superstore.
Which is-
So in reality, they are not liable for anything, even something that is quote mainstays, which is the Walmart brand. Even stuff that is quote mainstays, the Walmart store itself, you cannot go after. You have to go after the brand that they distribute from.
And that's probably who is ever going to attack anyway, because that's the industry that needs to die out. Not actual Walmart. We get the superstar detail, but these little cheap-handed Chinese-made boards that are going to get us killed, they need to go.
Well, if I remember correctly, there's a Vision board, and Vision used to be an actual skate company until I guess they got bought out or whatever, and then they're just like, we're just going to mass-produce boards. So yeah, I mean that's what happens when you mass-produce boards that are cheap and poorly made. Like, dude, there's Tony Hawk boards you can buy that are like this.
Probably.
Yeah, there is.
Walmart sells Tony Hawk boards with
They
his
do.
fucking name on it and everything, and they're that quality. They're really poor mass-produced quality.
Like, does Tony Hawk build your own skateboard kits? They used to sell at Walmart back in the day?
Those were probably higher quality. I mean,
It'd be actuality,
I
yeah.
would guess. I mean, like, and again, the thing is, you can go buy a Birdhouse board and it's actual good quality because it's a real skate brand. Or like Pal Peralta, you can go buy a Pal board.
Or Mystery?
Like, those are actual. Well, the thing is, like, Tony skates for Pal and for Birdhouse. So, like, yeah, of course those boards are going to be higher quality. It's an actual skate brand owned by skaters and not just something that was bought out to mass distribute things like it was with the Tony Hawk boards. Like, I think. I'm trying to remember what brand they are. They might literally just be Tony Hawk boards. Like, I don't even know if it's a skate brand. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, can we put your name on these? Yeah, sure, whatever. You know, if I get a cut, and then they're just crap.
Give me 15% royalty.
Yeah, it's like it's
Yeah.
it's basically like if you want to get a real quality board, get the boards that are like the brands that he actually skates for. You know, like if you see him riding a board, he's probably gonna be riding like a Pal board or something. That's an actual brand. Like, they make good boards.
Yeah, Pal boards. Whatever happened to the Huff boards?
Huff?
You know, like a Huff bike. But
Oh, I remember Huff boards. Yeah. What did happen to
I
them?
used to have a Star Wars one.
My brothers used to have a
My
couple of
brother's
Huff
getting
boards.
those. I was more like a DGK guy. Or like Baker growing up. I'd say like those are my favorite brands.
Bobby's first
Or
board
World
was a Baker.
Industries. My first board was a World Industries board.
Mine was a Huff board. It was pretty good. I was able to, like the wheels kind of like suck in the bearings, but at least I was able to do tricks on it. I learned how to do an ollie on a Huff board. And a kickflip.
Nice. I mean, yeah, I would say that like I probably learned most of my stuff on Baker boards. I feel like Baker hasn't really like changed at all. Like they haven't changed really their brand imaging too much or like their graphics or anything.
If it's
or
not
their
broken,
quality.
if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's always how I felt about Baker, and like I like their brand imaging. They're pretty like hardcore and rebellious and shit. They've got some really good video parts. I think Baker 3 is like one of my favorite like video parts of all time. Like that's timeless. I mean, you could literally watch Baker 3 like any day of the week, any year, and it's gonna be a good ass video. It's like it's a really good representation of the culture at the time, and like the people who used to skate for Baker and everything. Like Antoine Dixon was like easily probably one of my favorite skaters growing up because his style is like so I could oh my god don't get me ranting about style but like fucking Antoine Dixon has like a super laid back style where like he doesn't really use his arms a lot. Like he does when he pops, like his arms move a little bit.
Oh, I remember seeing that video at the shop.
He looks super like somebody described it as it looks like he jumps and just like psychologically just telepathically tells the board what to do. You know what I mean? Whereas some people when they kickflip, like their arm does like all this shit and like it whips way out. He's literally just like kickflip. Like his arms just barely move, and it's like that to me shows board control. But if you want me to vent about style, dude, like skaters nowadays, well, like I call them posers. Posers are obsessed with style because it's like style doesn't matter if you know how to ride the board. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like if you're focusing on how you look and what your arms are doing, that means that you're not paying attention to what the board is doing. And that means that you're too worried about how you look and not about how you skate. You know, and it's like, I feel like Antoine Dixon, after that, like, so many people tried to copy his style. So many people. Even I did. I was a total fucking poser back then. And I was like, oh my God, I want to look so chill like Antoine and not try and everything. But it's like, well, because I was doing that, I wasn't actually putting the effort into, like, learning the board and, like, getting comfortable on it, you know? I was focused too much on, like, oh, my arms swinged a little bit too much that time. Like, I need to look more chill. Like, sometimes I would literally skate around with my hands in my fucking pockets because I was trying to look laid back. It's like, hey, you know what you need to skate? You need your arms. So if they're in your pockets, like... You have no sense of balance. Yeah, like, you need to hold your arms out to balance and stuff. Like, if you're going this way or that way. A little bit. We're not talking like, you know... You don't gotta be
like this on a surfboard or nothing, but...
It's gonna give you more control. Exactly. Like, that's the thing. You're gonna have way more, like... Just control in terms of your reactions. Oh, I leaned a little bit too far that way. I can kind of turn my arm, catch it a little bit, and balance this way. If your hands are in your fucking pockets, you're just like... You're using your shoulders more so than anything else. Yeah, so if you fall, like, you should never brace yourself with your arms, but if you fall and your, like, hands are down here, you're gonna, like, sort of teeter-totter a lot more than if you just, like, have your arms kind of... Roll like, with you. This way, yeah. So you can roll with it. Throw the momentum this way, right? You can kind of, like, shift your torso with your shoulders and arms. If they're down here, you're way more restricted and just... You're limited in your movement. Can fall and everything.
Then, like, how are you able to stop yourself? How are you going to brace for impact?
Yeah.
You're just going to lose your teeth.
Basically.
Or you knock your noggin pretty damn good.
Yeah. The main thing is, like I said, just the teeter-totter shit where you just fucking... Boop, like...
I'm going to be honest. I'm not the kind of person who's guilty. Like, as a kid, I never wore my helmet when I skateboard. On a bike, yeah. On a skateboard, no, never did.
I can say I'm definitely... I don't really wear a helmet, like, ever. Because... Maybe that's a me problem. I'm not gonna tell people don't wear a helmet, but it's just a me
I just feel like it throws off my balance, especially if I'm gonna do a handstand on my skateboard.
Nah, I would much rather.
If you're gonna do a handstand,
really, Frankie?
Yes, I was that dumb back in the day.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna say, yeah, and you're gonna be the reason why your head hurts when you fall and your head back open because you decided to do a handstand on a skateboard.
Oh, I came close.
Nobody asked you to.
No one did.
Nobody asked you for that.
No, I just wanted to see if I could do it because it was just like that curiosity killed a cat.
And you didn't think about putting a helmet on first. You said no, it's gonna mess up my balance. Screw my safety.
Yeah, no, pretty much. That's pretty much how it was back in the day.
That's like the same mindset as people who try to like kick.
I'm trying to die
on their board. If you're trying to kickflip and you can't even
live for the thrill,
it's like, dude, you kind of need to understand like. Okay, if you try to kickflip on the first day of skateboarding, that's like saying, okay, I just passed my driver's test, I'm gonna go enter in a fucking race. You know what I mean? Like, you're mentally not even there yet. You just learned how to fucking brake and hit the gas. Like, you need to learn how to manual first and get your balance and board comfort up because it's like you need to build a relationship with the board. You know, you need to know like its weight, how long it is, how it feels, like. How it feels to pop it, how it feels to balance it on one truck and everything.
Kind of like learning how to drive a car. Yeah. Like one thing that one of my friends drilled into me was that one of the most important things when it comes to driving, especially when it's like your own vehicle, you need to know your vehicle's dimensions, how touchy its gas pedal is, or how not touchy it is, how much play is in the wheel, how much play is not in the wheel. You know, you got to know how your car is going to react in the way that you react to the car reacting. It's all about knowing your vehicle.
That's
and your skateboard in this metaphor would be your vehicle.
That's why a lot of people crash like muscle cars, especially like teenagers. If they get like a Mustang for their 16th birthday, they usually fucking crash it because they don't know how to control that power. They're literally just like, I want to go fast. I want to look cool. I'm just going to put my foot down. And the thing is, it's a rear-wheel drive car where all the torque is going to go immediately like that. So if you're mentally just not even there, you're not going to be ready for the squealing, when it starts
fishtailing.
Yeah.
You're not going to be prepared for that.
Yeah. Like, it's really, I'm not going to say a 16-year-old can't drive a Mustang, but like, I would have to make sure that they
understood how it worked.
Understand like how much power is behind this fucking thing. Like you need to really reinforce like, hey, this is a scary vehicle. That's not a good thing. You shouldn't be like excited that it's scary and fast. You should be very cautious that it's scary and fast and like keep that in the back of your mind. Focus on that shit. Like Focus on taming the beast. Don't just like.
They have tracks for that for you to practice a little bit. That way you can get comfortable with it.
You
I'm
gotta
not
get
gonna
a
lie.
relationship with the horse.
Exactly.
And don't just jump on it. Right?
Exactly. Kind of like, Spirit, where Buddy had to, pretty much make friends with the horse before the horse even let him on.
Yeah.
And with me, like, not gonna lie, my little Dodge Neon that I had, that was my first car. And that thing was like a go-kart. Like, the brakes were super touchy, and the gas was really touchy. Like, even more so than the Matrix we have now. And I got scared one day, I just wanted to see how wide I could open it up. And once I slammed my foot on that pedal, being very naive, seeing, let's see how fast that can go. It was very scary. I was like, oh my god, I'm going way too fast. And it was like 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. That thing was, woo! I loved it.
I'm gonna do the same thing,
And it it had no play in the wheel. So, like, you just slightly turn it like this. It's going, bro. Like, it was awesome. I love that car.
I had a Chevy
But it scared
Impala
me.
2010. A little suited up, came in, got off the dealership. I saw how fast it went and respected it. That's the thing, you can't be scared. You just gotta respect the power that it has.
Well, yeah. When the car scared me, it made me respect the power that it had. Hence why, I became more cautious afterwards. Was
It's
because
like
it scared me into respecting the
You gotta
car.
have like a cautious respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, I understand what you're capable of, so I don't want to just send it.
Unless it's
Fuck it.
Unless it's one of those rare situations where it's like, I gotta go. Gotta go.
And I know you can breathe.
You're all the way down the road.
Highway
Ooh.
late at night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. I once outpaced, oh gosh, was it my Buick or was it the Jeep? Because I think I came home bragging about it. I had outrun I could hear the damn, what's it called? They had a turbine engine in this Chevy, this big ass Chevy truck. They had a turbine engine in that motherfucker. And he's like challenging me to a race on the highway. Like, he's on my butt. So I move aside from him, let him go past me. Then he gets right in front of me. So then I do the same thing. We're going back and forth like this. Then eventually Buddy's looking at me like, and I was like, and we're opening it wide open, and I outpaced him. I was in a much smaller vehicle than he was, and I outpaced him. And then when he finally caught back up to me, he's laying on his horn on me, pissed as hell.
Well, I think my question: doesn't a larger vehicle usually take more power to actually move because of the weight?
Actually, I think it was the Jeep.
It's
I
like,
think I was in the Jeep.
I feel like it's a weight thing, and
It's all
Weight
about
class.
how
momentum.
many cylinders.
It's all about
it is,
momentum
if
and
it's got
inertia.
Turbo, if
Yeah.
it's all-wheel drive or not, if it's four-wheel drive or whatever.
It was in the Jeep. My Jeep Grand Cherokee, it had a V6 engine in that thing. And as soon as I, told that thing to go, it went. That truck stood no chance.
Oh.
He couldn't even catch me, because I went down for 5 miles waiting for him to catch me. He never caught me.
It's a long session, I must say.
Long yap session.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a podcast. It's kind of like Joe Rogan,
Mm.
Anything, everything goes, and long conversation.
Long conversation.
But I guess we're gonna call it a wrap for right now. It was so great talking to you, Seth. We really hope you come back, and we talk about other wider subjects next time. Which we talked about a great variety, and I loved talking about skateboarding for the last. I learned so much about skateboarding that I didn't know before,
And we learned about Zen.
and keeping the
State
zen.
of Zen, dude.
That's
State
right.
of Zen.
I'm about to say,
Yeah,
we
my
just
man.
all about culture.
Yep.
Yeah. The culture of a yin and yang white dude.
Yin and yang white dude. But anyways, so we're gonna come to a close. Thank y'all for sticking around. If you stuck around this long, hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. We're gonna leave you with these wise words of live life with eyes wide open. See you on the next one.